Welcome back to the broadcast, Sumo fans. We're Ruckus Fights NYC presents Chanko for a very special episode today of the day 15, the final day of the Aki Basho. We've got two guests who we're so happy to have. Give your Ian, if you want to introduce your own self.
Yeah, man. Thanks. My name's Ian, and I lived in Japan for 5 years. I was a Japanese translator. First, I was an English teacher, but then I was a translator. N2, if that means anything, if you know some Japanese, which is like the second highest level for like the official Japanese test. Yeah, I'm just happy to be here. I want to help you guys out, give you some insight.
We're so excited to have you.
Even if I'm not expert on sumo, give you an idea into the Japanese language or what they're trying to say and stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Great. And Neil, who if you've been watching the show, he's been in the chat, but we finally got him on audio. So Neil, if you want to.
Hello, I'm Neil Jenkins. I'm from upstate New York. I've been watching sumo since 2017 when I saw it on PBS late at night at like 4:30 in the morning, and ever since, I've been hooked and tried to get as many friends and family into sumo as I could.
Hell yeah. Neil is like my guy that got me into it. And so when I'm watching it at 4 a.m. by myself and I'm like, wow, I got to talk to somebody about that. I get Neil to tell me what the hell's happening.
Okay. The bout we just saw actually marked Chionoo's fifth defeat against Tobizaru in 5 attempts. So he's 0-5 against Tobizaru, and Tobizaru still Maki Koshi this tournament by 1 defeat, but that puts Chionoo 1 win above double-digit losses, and at M15 he's probably headed back to Jurio pretty comfortably.
Whew. All right, let's jump right in. Okinumi, I thought was going to maybe even win this tournament, and I think I wasn't too far off. He's only one win off the pace, right?
Well, Miyogiru's the only one that's in striking distance. But,
oh, right, yeah. Okinumi can't actually win.
I'm assuming the winner of this might get like technique prize possibly, because they're both pretty big time technicians, and then you got kind of the belt battle showdown on day 15 here. This is actually a pretty exciting match.
Yeah, I always say this about Endo, but he's like he'll come in and like kick all the Yokozuna's asses, so he's top tier. But then when he faces a power guy like Okinumi or Miyogiru or somebody, he tends to lose because it's like just too much effort for him and he doesn't really get anything out of it. But in this situation, I see him bringing his A game, so I'm excited to see what happens.
I heavily agree because they both have a lot of stylistic similarities. I feel like Endo is probably going to want to get the win. And like I said, I'm not 100% sure. I tried to look into info on what was going on with the special prizes, but I would not be surprised if a technique prize is on the line in this match. Again, I'm not 100% sure where the special prizes are going. But yeah, it would be like a dream scenario in my opinion. You have 2 major technicians having a great tournament, both veterans, never really sniffed Ozeki, but a technique prize would be a great addition for either of them.
Can we make use of our translator and see what Wakanohana is saying? That's his name, right?
Yeah. Just hold on a second.
See what that announcer is trying to say.
2人とも実証しています。過去の対戦も10対10と全くの五分です。2人とも相撲のうまい隠岐の海と遠藤の対戦です。さあ、それでは時間になりました。土俵です。
I was saying that it's like even though they're tied like 10-4, 10-4, they're saying that Endo is really the one that's kind of like his strategy, or that's kind of his fight that he wants to do. So it's really depending on him, like he's going to win. Or...
左の下手。 Oh,
good form.
Yeah.
Struggle for the belt there, but Okinumi never seemed to be able to stabilize any kind of position, and his weight was off, and he just got dumped.
Yeah.
当たりながら左をね、こう刺していくっていう、この遠藤のね、
はい。
立ち合いの今日の当たりは良かったですよね。思わず、
The way that he kind of like pushed him to came in the
こ
left
こからまあ
and kind of
上
pushed
手
him
は
off.
取れてないですかね。はい、これで取れました。で、ここから下手を取ったので、引きつけていく。本当はね、頭つけたいですよね。
はい。
He's trying to use his head basically to kind of have like a tension between them, so it's like who they're trying to push against each other. The guy's using his head kind of as a block.
一歩前に出てから
But
で出れないと思って相手が
Endo, the guy on the right, I guess, made the mistake that he kind of he lost his balance, right? So he went.
これからですね。
So that's kind of where they're saying that
ここうまいですね。遠藤もこのタイミングがね、
in the end it
相手に対して相手の体勢が崩れたところをすかさず上手投げで仕留めて。
Yeah, okay, so he's saying then Okunaumi lost his balance and Endo felt the momentum shift and perfectly
they
timed
were
just
basically
dumped him
pushing their
over.
heads against each other in that kind of sense, not just their bodies, but like their heads were locked. And it looked like Endo, the guy on the right, was going to lose, but actually he used that against. And that's a big part of sumo, right? Like you use your even
Right,
Aikido
yeah.
or judo, you use your
Looking
enemy's momentum.
forward to, and the more I wrestle, like we have a ring here upstate.
Cool, man.
I've started to figure out that, like, you know, if you try to throw like a tripping or a pulling technique, the other guy's going to feel that and resist it.
Yeah.
So you actually, what you want to do is plan for when he resists it and have a second move ready.
Yep.
You know, anticipating what they're going to do against your first attack. So it's not just a, you know, like who can throw the best moves. It's like, how can you get in the other guy's head and plan for what he's going to think to do so that you can use his own weight against him.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I used to do saber fencing for a long time, high school through college and stuff. So I understand, especially the footwork, man. That's the most important because, you know, if you lose your balance, but you have to anticipate the next move again. Like if you want to play chess or something, it's similar to that too. Like you have to know, you have to have a good repertoire. You know, like if you play the piano, you play chess, something like martial arts, you have to have a good skill set and then, you know, kind of know what to do at the right moment based on your instinct.
There's the guy who usually commentates this with me, Zach. We play shogi. It's like Japanese chess.
Yeah, I used to play that. I used to hang out with the old guys in the park by my apartment and play shogi with them and drink beers. And stuff.
I can always bait him into taking like a big piece, and then it moves his pieces out of alignment. It's like it infuriates him.
Well, I mean, you do it in chess too. It's the same principle.
Right, like a queen's sacrifice or something. All right, so these guys, Kageaki, I look at him as just being powerful as hell. That's like kind of his one thing. I don't think he's like actually super technical. And then the other guy, Teretsuyoshi, is like Neil's favorite guy. He's really short, but he's insanely technical. He's got like he's a little Swiss Army man.
It's kind of interesting because Kagayaki means like to shine brightly, but Teretsuyoshi like means like also to shine brightly.
Highly contextual, I understand.
Yeah, like Kagayaki is like Kagayaiteru is like something that's shining, like a reflection on something or something brilliant. And Teru is more like a sunlight or a sunshine, but it's Syoi, like very strong. So they're a good match.
The Teretsuyoshi being my favorite story basically has to do with him being in Isegiyama, and my old favorite when I first got started was Haramafuji. The first tournament I ever watched was when Haramafuji took the Yusho from Hakuho, and it was a Yokozuna battle on the final day, and Haramafuji pulled it off. And he's kind of, to me, the spiritual successor a little bit to Haramafuji with the fast initial charge and the trickery.
For context, Ian Hakuho, the guy he's just saying, this little guy's master beat is like the greatest of all time. He's like the most winningest, most dominant athlete in any sport ever.
Yeah, the amount of records and stuff, ridiculous.
Do you want more volume?
さあ、その照ノ富士と同じ部屋の照強が出てまいりました。画面向かって右側です。
Is that better?
Okay.
おそらくお小遣いももらってるでしょうか。どうでしょうか。さあ、そして相手は輝です。
All right, let's get ready.
Oh, full start.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, you're starting to figure it out.
Is there any penalty for too many of them? Like, do you get some sort of?
No, not really.
Curmudgeonly disapproval.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Very dishonor on your whole family.
I mean, these guys would probably make great defensive linemen, right? Wow, the little guys are really active. He's gonna get pushed though. No. Oh.
No, he's pretty tricky.
This is a good one. Ian, most of the ones we've watched thus far in the tournament are over long before this.
Ooh.
Yeah, what's he doing with that hand?
Almost went for an undershoulder swing down, it looked like there, but...
Well, like I said, you know, they have very similar meaning names.
Oh, no.
Damn, I really haven't liked Terutsuyossi whenever he's had a low position. He hasn't gone for his regular, like, drive through. He keeps trying to go for some kind of grapple or weird, flashy technique, and I love that he can pull that stuff off, but his really quick, low drives were his ticket to get here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn it up. Ian, are they saying anything about this?
Yeah, what's the Wakanohana saying?
そういう点ではこうやってね、もう怖がらずに出ていくことが大切ですね。ここも思い切り決めて。
He's kind of like ran out of energy for a second, and then this is the most important part where like he has to use as much of his power that he can. Yeah. Kubo Sasaru is like to kind of like push yourself, right?
あまり回し切るのもね、こうできないので、もう上手取るしかないって手出します。ほら、これは。
The other guy ran out of energy pretty much.
もう
And just that's basically why he took a spell, you know, because he ran out of energy, tried to push so hard, maybe a little too much.
It almost looked like he was going for like a fireman's carry or something like we saw Uda try to do earlier in the week. Maybe he just got crushed, but...
I mean, just to me, I don't know the techniques, but it looked almost to me like he tricked him into using his own weight against himself, like almost like he went to go a little bit defensive to lean back, and then he just let him fall. But I'm, of course, not versed in this.
He's done the salt.
Got the LeBron salt throw.
Yeah, that's his big thing. All right, so here's Uda, who I was just talking about. He tries all these crazy nonsense techniques that like rarely work out, but it's so fun to watch.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that I feel like Terutsuyoshi's fallen into as well. Like, danger of cool things, basically. Also, Terutsuyoshi fans, don't worry. He did hit double-digit losses, but this tournament is double-digit loss kingdom. So at M7, even with double-digit losses, there's a double-digit loss party at the bottom of the Banzuke. So he'll still be in the top division easily.
Phew. I feel like with the
M7?
With the littler, and the Mega Shura is the rank that most of the guys in the top division have, and it's ranked 1 through like 17. And the higher your number is, the lower you are on the chart. Like 1 is the best.
I see.
So he's at 7. So even with a losing record, there's a ton of guys with losing records. So he won't get demoted very far.
There's even way more than usual guys with double-digit losing records this tournament. Just so far that we've seen, Sugigisho, Chiuno, and now Ichi Yamamoto, who's going to be in this match, all are going to have double-digit losing records. And
Ichi Yamamoto's been getting dumped on.
Yes, and probably will continue to get dumped on.
Yeah. That was like a no-brainer.
That one's a bit subdued at the end.
Yeah, Uro was basically like, okay, what are you going to do? Okay, nothing. All right, I'm going to go forward and you're done.
Yeah.
Also, I actually found the Sancho, so I can read that off in a second, the special prizes.
Oh, cool.
そこに相手をおびき寄せて失敗したところをついていく。今日は
Yeah, they said he messed up basically. He tried to kind of try to push the guy back. what wound up
ここまで
happening
の
is
番
that
付で
stepped
ね
out of
それで
bounds.
勝ってきたんですけどね、ここから上上がるにはもう少し攻めた相撲が見たいですね、ラダショから。
そうですね。
はい
He needs to kind
コ
of
メント欄
like
見ても
hold
裏
back a
いい
little
相
bit
撲だったね。
in his
Ah,
race.
Tochi.
Yeah, here's Zach's guy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Tochino Shin. He's kind of like all of our like you know that like team that you see him and he used to lift dudes up like all the biggest dudes. He would just pick them up and carry them out like taking a kid to bed.
He rattled off 5 straight, and now he's at 7-7, and he's going to be against I don't know, I forget what you guys call him, thick legs or something. Takara Fuji, basically, with the really strong lower body that kind of wins by stamina. Yeah. They're both going for Kachikoshi here. They're both 7-7. So
yeah, I saw that on the roster. Takara Fuji, we every time he comes up, Zach is like, "Holy shit, how old is that guy?" It turns out he's only like 35, but he does look like he's like 40.
It's a hard 35.
At least.
Yeah, well, you live a good life, you know.
These guys.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
I mean, like, you notice too. Even like, you know, I watch sumo sometimes and stuff, especially when we go to like the onsen, not the onsen, sento. Sento is like the public baths and stuff, and they would have like a sauna inside the bathhouse, and they would always have sumo on. When you check it out and stuff, like I noticed the one thing is that like the guys, no matter what their size is, like you got to look at their legs. Like the legs is what supports everything. So like the guys that have the really strong legs, like even if you're really heavy and you could just knock somebody down like a bulldozer, the legs is what holds it in, you know.
Yeah, which both of these guys have huge, powerful legs, but Tochinoshin, the Georgian guy there on the left, has like a persistent injury. So I feel like that's what's going to lose this for him if in fact he does lose.
Yeah, it's a big wrap.
Especially the calves, man. That's the whole thing.
He's been Tochi the last few days has been playing to the belt pretty well and not necessarily going for power belt like he used to. It's more leverage based, and it's been working pretty well for him. He lost, I believe, yesterday in a really tough, well-fought match. I think against Kageaki it was, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
I feel like he tends to lose against Kageaki. He picked up Yutaka Yama a few days ago, and I was like, holy smokes.
Yeah, he looked good.
This guy, what's it? I can't see it. Tochinoshin is he like a half Japanese or something?
He's not Japanese at all. He's like 100% Georgian. His real name is Levan Gorgadze.
Yeah, because I sort of remind, you know, the katakana on the bottom for his name. I looked at his face and it really Japanese.
No, they take ring names basically.
Yeah, of course.
Just so that it conforms to the tradition of the sport.
Of course.
There's only a few guys who are not of Asian descent in the sport, and he's one of them.
Yeah, that's why I asked if he was half, because maybe, you know, a lot of guys are into that stuff.
There's most of the other guys that are any amount like European are at least half Japanese. I think Kaisei is half Japanese, half Brazilian.
Yeah, like when I got good at speaking Japanese and stuff, people always say, "Oh, you half Japanese? Like you can't, you wouldn't really know Japanese if you were not Japanese 100%, or maybe half at least." You know, so.
Yeah, that's where you're like, no, I'm actually full.
Yeah, we tipped him off the blonde hair and red beard.
Yeah, and the blue eyes.
All right, here we go.
That was a lively charge from Tochi.
Oh, something about this is giving me the willies.
Oh, no. Yeah, I was hoping he would get it. Now, Brennan, who's yelling during the match? Is it like a coach?
That's the Gyoji, the guy with the robe on. He's saying Takara or Nakota, which I think basically means like put some energy into it. Or you're still in.
Osaite is like to push or shove onto something, or like push it, like if you're using energy or some force on something, like Osaite means to like kind of push.
So you're saying the referee encourages them, like he's in there?
He's like saying push harder, push harder, push harder.
I think he's basically letting them know that the fight is still going, is what I've heard. Is like the point of it is like no one has stepped out or touched down yet, so keep going, keep giving it your all.
We haven't seen one.
Like,
go ahead.
I was going to say he's kind of basically denouncing lackadaisicalness is the way I always, you know, heard it. Like when two of the big, like Ichinojo or somebody has like a 2-minute match, the whole time he's yelling like, put some spirit in it, keep it going, like kind of deal.
Hakioi!
I love it.
We haven't seen one yet where a guy got pancaked off of the Brennan, help me.
Dohyo.
Yes. I mean, last time we got together, there was a number of devastating throws.
Yeah, this tournament has had some amazing, just people getting launched off the
Fucking
doyo.
bundled. Yeah.
Who got really hurt? Somebody got really hurt the last day or two. I forget who it was. There was a dropout because he got absolutely mangled. He got pushed off, I think by Terno Fuji, if I remember correctly.
I'll look that up.
Oh, it was Takayasu, dude. He got
really? Is that why he's not?
He got tossed by Terno Fuji.
Oh, that blows. You know, he's like one of my favorites.
I know he is. I felt so bad. It was crappy. I mean, he got really launched.
Takayasu is one of the very few wrestlers who wrestles under his actual name.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. Really? I didn't know that.
Takayasu Akira. It's like his family name.
Let me read off the Sancho quick to get you up to speed on it. So the special prizes for this tournament, we got Outstanding Performance Award going to Daisho at West Maegashira 4. 9-5 so far this tournament. Not conditionally, they're just giving it to him. We got the Fighting Spirit prize on a win will go to Onosho, who's sitting at West Maegashira 6, 10-4. So if he wins today, he'll get the Fighting Spirit prize. We have another Fighting Spirit prize conditionally to
another tied 4 wins 10 against the
other. I didn't see I didn't say anything, but Rakis is in the chat.
Oh, hey Keith. At West Maegashira 10, Miyogiru at 11-3 needs to win to also get a Fighting Spirit prize. I think he's against Onosho, so that's why. Whoever wins between them gets it. And then the technique prize is going to Miyogiru no matter what. So that's pretty interesting. Miyogiru is getting a special prize no matter what, but he can get 2 and keep alive in the Yusho race by beating Onosho today. Oh no, he's against Meisei. So I'm totally off base there. Both of them can get the prize by winning their individual matches.
I see.
大相撲に関しては序の口から結びの一番まで15日間を生中継している。これはもう他ではなかなかありません。アベマ独特の独自のサービスです。で実は
Neil, can you see our private chat?
I don't believe so. One second.
なかなか注目しないような他のカメラが行かないようなところもですね、狙っていきますんで。
あまり冗談言えないですね。お尻って言ったら本当お尻に抜いたりするので。
お腹って言ったらお腹行きますね。
I'll do my own slaps over here.
これね、回し叩いてるんですよ。
Those are the American tit slap overdubs.
He's got to watch his back. But he's a natural fighter, natural born fighter.
Like most overdubs, it's just a hair off and lacking the usual passion of the original.
Once I get more practice,
木村幸之助軍配を返しました。
始めよう。
上昇的徳勝龍です。変わった。
Wow.
That
was quite brief.
That was beautiful, man.
What a dick.
Whenever Chiyoshima has a negative record, I always predict Hanka. Didn't say anything there, but
he's Mongolian, so I feel like that's like always on the table.
Yeah.
少し張るように見せかけてやってるんですよね、千代翔馬。うまいですよね。
But he said he's kind of cheap.
Yeah, that's what they always say.
ずるいですよね。
こういうね、うまさであってずるさでもあるわけです。
ずれてるんですよね。やっぱりそうですね。
エンドなんかこういうの必要なんですよ。
ああ、こういうずるいところですか。
ずるさが必要ですよね。
Even though he says that it's like cheap or cheating, at the same time he says it's necessary.
It's like,
yeah, I get it.
Counter strategy.
He didn't understand basically where where the guy was going to come from. You know, not the guy on the left, the guy on the right.
Tokushoryu.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it seemed effective, but like you said, it's not always the most honorable, right?
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, it's also kind of your fault if you fall for it, because like, it means he was basically going for a headbutt. You know, like he wasn't looking at his opponent. He just threw his body forward, and that's. I mean, you're signing up for that, especially when you know the guy you're fighting has fucking 10 losses already.
Yeah. Yeah, but the other guy had 10 too. They were even 4-10, 4-10.
Is that when do they show the record at the bottom of like the tail of the tape? Is that where the record pops up?
Oh no, it starts in the beginning.
Yeah.
No, I mean like when they show the two guys side by side with the various.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, their head-to-head
like they
record.
do in
Yeah.
wrestling. Or
Yeah.
UFC
Is the
or
record
anything
at the
like
bottom? Is that the two numbers down there?
that.
Because
Yeah,
I didn't
underneath
see
them,
them.
like the number and then like the kanji, so you have cut sheet and then tore it.
Sure.
So.
Oh my god, this is a big one.
And then even if you look at the top above them, like on their side next to the name, they'll have like a black dot and a black circle with a white dot.
Yeah. So like filled in or not filled in
Yeah,
is a win or
the full
loss.
black dot
respectively,
is the wins, and the hollow circle is the losses.
I'm trying to keep, not that there's any activity in the chat right now, but I'm keeping an eye on that and the screen, so I don't
it's all
know
good.
who's fighting next.
Yeah, Chiyoshima also is very well known for hanking, especially at bad records. So, I mean, Tokashoryu should have kind of known that was coming.
I think he was hoping to just sandblast him before he could get out of the way.
So maybe you guys can tell me, because they had the scene before with the two guys on there. They were saying that like this is, at least for September, is one of like the really most famous or most important matches in sumo. Is that true, or is it just like this is the end of it, or?
I'm not totally history before like 2010. I'm not totally sure on, but there might be some really. I'm assuming this is a famous bout from
Classic,
this
I guess.
Basho.
Yeah,
I think it's because it's the last tournament held in Tokyo of the year.
Yeah, they didn't split.
Like, Ian, what does that banner say? The red banner. Is that legible to you?
So you can turn it. Oh, they're talking about like these two guys are basically, it's like their fifth match together.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so before, like when they had the two guys, it kind of like they were like the podium stuff. They were saying this month was like right here on the bottom. It's right, Kugatsu Basho. Like this play, it's like the legendary fight or showdown or something like
Like an
that.
anniversary of it or something?
Not an anniversary, but it's just saying like this could be like this I guess match or whatever could be history defining or something like that.
Oh, nice.
I feel like that almost goes without. The guy who is like the tournament leader right now is sort of like the new king of the ring. This is his first tournament as a Yokozuna.
Okay, so maybe that makes sense, like kind of the underdog kind of coming in out of nowhere. And...
Right. Plus, they're in like a new era in Japan, as you may know, Reiwa. So everyone.
So this is for Onosho's Fighting Spirit prize.
If he wins.
Yes.
What is the prize for this one?
The Fighting Spirit prize. It's kind of like a special award for how you did this tournament, and it ends up giving you bonus money basically towards in your career, and it's like a special accolade, kind of.
That's cool.
Yeah, you get like a little separate trophy, I think, for it.
You have the Jeweled Eagle versus the Honorable Blossoming Samurai.
It's nice to hear you translating these names, because I've done it with like Google and I was pretty close.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's literal because like they have special readings and meanings for like their name and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of them are apparently are like references to other fighters from their stable and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you also consider like the names, like they use different pronunciations. Like even for like Joel or Ue, like for up in Japanese, the one kanji has like 5-6 different pronunciations. So, and then specific ones for names too. So
This would only be Onosho's. This is Onosho's second winning record this year. He had 3 Maki Koshi tournaments before this, so getting the special prize here and getting this double-digit record is kind of a righting of the ship for him this year. It would be his 4th special prize, it looks like, too, or 4th Fighting Spirit prize if he wins this and secures it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Why is it only these 2 that are eligible?
It's not these 2. Tamawashi has done bad this tournament, but by beating him, Onosho will get the prize. They kind of dangle it in front of you like a carrot a little bit on the final day sometimes. It's kind of odd, honestly.
Do they select who can get? I'll wait for this fight to be over here. Well,
it's not gonna start for a second.
Do they select like who it's available to on the last day, or is it like a numerical threshold or something?
It's how the council of people decide. Like, for example, like Fighting Spirit, Onosho's to them given his max effort every day and secured a great record. So
it's kind of intangible.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's like we've talked about before. There's like a darkened room with a bunch of old men in robes that decide what would be most exciting if it happened, and then they kind of like set it up.
It sounds like 90%
accordingly.
of Japanese decisions.
There's
like
been
smoking in a dark room and be like, yeah, this is
yeah, it's like.
Do you agree? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I agree too.
There's been tournaments with 0 special prizes given out too.
Wow.
Yep, we're about to get into the match here.
Yeah,
he's got the fan facing forward.
Wow, efficient. Now this is gonna be a neophyte question, but I'm not. Maybe I'm just deaf or too tired, but I'm not picking up like a noise that indicates the start. What
No, there isn't one. Hold on, let's hear what he's saying.
Basically, he just said like he just slapped him really quick, almost kind of like E Honda. I mean, he didn't say E Honda, but it's like that 1,000-hand slap. He just slapped him so many times really quickly that the guy on the right, Onosho, was kind of like confused. He didn't know what to do.
Yeah, that's his style all day. Chris, to answer your question, the match starts when all 4 of their knuckles touch the ground.
Oh, so like the last person to do so decides.
Yeah, basically.
That's cool.
If one of them isn't ready, he'll call it a false start. That's like why that happens. If the Gyoji's like, wait, hold on a second.
Sure.
The knuckles is kind of a newer rule, actually, too. I'm not 100% sure when exactly it was established, but it's definitely, I believe, after the year 2000 or somewhere around in the last 20-ish years. Before, it was just when both people go on rhythm. Because that's the whole idea, is that they're both in sync. So
Right.
you'll see a lot of really older matches that don't involve that kind of start. Also, it's interesting to note special prizes can only be given to wrestlers below Ozeki rank. So a Yokozuna and an Ozeki cannot win special prizes. So a lot of times when they're not given out, it's because everyone just got hosed by the Ozekis and the Yokozunas. And they're like, oh, they did nothing, so no special prizes. Like, the people who won were supposed to.
Yeah, and that's what you're looking for. So this is Wakataka Kage versus Chinokuni.
It's a good name. Wakataka Kage.
It means
Yes,
like
that's Waka Flocka Flames godson.
Considering the weekend I've had thus far, the fact I got that on second try is
the
divine grace.
His brother's on the come up too. He did pretty well at a high rank in Jurio. So we could have multiple Wakas soon.
Hopefully, there's 3 of them, right?
my kanji is failing me on the left, but the right one means like 1,000-year country. Chonokuni.
Wakataka Kage is a reference to they have like this legend of the 3 brothers, you know, like Billy Goat's Gruff, or like we have like a bundle of arrows that if you have them together it can't be broken. It's that kind of myth because there's 3 brothers. So there's Wakamoto Haru, Wakataka Kage, and Wakataka Moto.
Or is it Wakamoto Haru? There's so many. it's hard to remember.
But
Yeah,
these are taken names, not family names, right? Because obviously, say the
correct.
Georgian guy,
Yeah, they were given to them because there's 3 of these brothers, and I think it means like an arrow and a blade and
Yeah, because
something
a
and
lot of
a
them too, you have
bow.
like Ataji. Ataji is like you use the kanji just for the sound or the meaning or both. So sometimes like it's not the literal meaning or what you would think,
Right.
or the correct pronunciation.
That's a perfect example of when it's like if you're Japanese, you know, you
Yeah.
get the reference right away, but if you're trying to translate it, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like if you're into like what's the Greek teacher Nizuko or Shonanjo Gumi, like they would use the not the Yakuza, what is it, like the biker Bozoku, they would have like the jackets where it would be like Yoroshiku, which means like please be nice to me or have a good relationship together, but like they put it in kanji where it means
that was
like
biker jackets.
yeah, and they'd be like death death fog, all this crazy kind of meaning to it.
But please be nice to me.
Yeah, Yoroshiku. Well, I mean that's the literal meaning.
Oh, I know. I'm just fucking with you.
That's really cool. I love that stuff.
These guys have never
pretty
fought
cool. The
before, by the
intricacy.
way.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Ian, I
Are they
love,
introduced?
I can see your face on the screen, and when he says stuff and you know what it means, you get like this grin going.
Yeah. Yeah, it fills me with joy, man.
I just think, generally speaking, Japanese commentators do a good job. Like their inflection goes from so calm to so loud in like it's like a soccer goal, a soccer goal being scored or something.
What is he saying?
Ian, I don't know. Wait.
I was giving you an example because a lot of times
Oh, yeah.
you're like, and then when you understand, you're like, oh, yeah, but it's yeah.
Like they're very, in my opinion, like expressive, emotive.
Yeah, when you agree.
They're exclamatory when there's something big happening.
So Chino Kuni's fighting at the lowest possible rank right now, Maegashira 17, which isn't even created every tournament. And if he wins here, he's going to get double-digit wins there. And he's probably going to shoot up the ranking sheet because of how many people have double-digit losses this tournament.
So, Neil, help me to understand real briefly. Since it's not a bracket tournament, is it just the most collective wins? If there's not a tie, gets the championship? Is that how it goes?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And if there is a tie, there's a playoff, even if one guy had an advantage over another.
Full start.
Full start.
5-yard penalty. Start from the back of the.
Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of points.
Yeah.
Chino Kuni really needs to hit him off balance out of the gate. Chino Kuni hasn't been as fast as normal.
Which one is that guy?
On the right.
Chino Kuni is the guy on the right. That 1,000-year country. He's like, we're going to do it again?
Ooh. That was interesting.
What even happened?
I think he got his weight too far in front of him, right?
Yeah, he just went too fast and didn't have his balance at all.
What's Wakanohana say about it?
Yeah, he said that in the beginning when he started, like, Kachiao is like when you start, and then Tachiao is more like when you go at each other from, like, the starting point, because Tachiao...
The initial charge, yeah, Tachiai.
Yeah. So, basically, again, it was kind of similar to the last one, where the one guy was off, he didn't expect it. Right, see, Chio Kuni, he went too high, and I feel like, yeah, he's trying to say that, hold on a second. Sorry, it was like...
You're right, it'll just sound nicer for you.
Just want to move the mic. But that kind of approach, and especially when you're coming from the lower point, he's saying it's kind of a little too difficult to keep your balance. So they're gonna have to kind of redo everything and saying it's kind of like an older ritual that they do. Kind of like restart or say water. Sake じゃない。お水か。
Chris, there actually could be a playoff for the Yusho tonight. It's extremely unlikely, but if Miyogiru defeats Meisei and then Shodai defeats Terunofuji, they would have a additional match, and it would be Miyogiru versus Terunofuji for the Grand Championship.
So that would be
I'm looking forward to that.
Well, this goes for another certain amount of time. I guess they started early tonight. I was unaware, but maybe Neil knows or Brennan knows that.
Yeah, there's like a big award ceremony at the end.
Yeah, it goes a little longer because there's an award ceremony and there's also the ritual they do for the last 3 matches, as well.
So Ian, what does Kiribayama mean?
Kiribayama means foggy horse mountain.
Great.
Misty horse mountain is actually better instead of fog. It's more like a mist. Chiyomaru means like a 1,000-year circle.
I heard it translated as Millennium Sphere because of his belly.
Oh, that makes sense. I always try to be like a purist, sometimes.
Oh, it was Kiribayama versus Tochi last night. Dude, that match was really good, actually. Tochi lost, and that broke his 5-in-a-row win streak, but that was a good match.
That's his name, but he's not. Imagine if you were from a place named Kiribayama, which is like Misty Horse Mountain. Like, that sounds so cool, man. 1,000-year circle. I mean, it's kind of like a Buddhist name, right? Like reincarnation, and every 1,000 years you were born or something like that, right?
Also, the sumo ring. I mean, it's been around for a very long time, and it's a circle, right?
Yeah.
From what I understand, it was meant to be like a tongue-in-cheek, like rip on him almost for being so particularly round.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point, right?
I mean, it's a good thing in this sport, but I mean, look at this guy.
Yeah.
Me and Zach call him the Mucinex guy. Those old commercials?
Yeah, with the green.
Yeah, nice doyo. I think I'll move in.
Yeah. You're going to move it on your face.
I like Chiyomaru. I don't mind him at all.
I think he's all right.
He does more than you would think he would do with the way he looks and like the style that a lot of guys with his size usually have. He can be a little more dynamic than just a pusher weight guy. He does a little bit of tricky stuff at the edge sometimes. He does some fun stuff.
Yeah.
He's got great calves, and he can take a hell of a pounding, I think, just because he's so well insulated. So he can really stand his ground until he gets a grip or a position that he likes, and I think that's great.
Yeah, but even like I said before, man, it always comes back to the legs, especially the calves are very important. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I did fencing and stuff. Like, to me, that's when I watch this. I don't know much about sumo. I've seen it, but I'm not an expert like you guys are. But
with anything, it's your power comes from the base.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like I kind of can see a lot from Saber, because Saber's a lot of like that first burst of energy. You just move really quickly, really fastly, and try to get your opponent out of the ring or hit them, which is, I feel like it's kind of similar to this, which is cool. I'm enjoying this, actually. Thank you.
We love having you.
My pleasure.
And thanks for having me.
Yeah. Oh, I'll come on as many times as I can, as many times you'll have me.
Man, they locked up quick.
Yeah. The tiny guy.
But now
guy's gonna beat it. Misty Mountain horse.
He's trying to get him up high. Yeah, he got it.
What the fuck?
That could be Sanyaku for Kiribayama. He was M2.
That is beautiful.
Holy smokes. I've never seen anybody pick him up like that.
He's half the size of him, not even. Just picked him up like it was like a fucking, excuse my language, empty cardboard box.
Yeah, no, this is like we're being very professional tonight, but this is a beer and pretzels kind of just fight companion, really. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, no, I'd prefer not to use profanity. But...
Good for you.
not on stream, at least.
Sure. Oh, my God. Holy smokes.
Sorry. That was beautiful. That's how much it moved me. I just like...
Yeah. Yeah. And however you prefer to present yourself is fine. Just don't feel bad about it, I guess is what I'm saying. We're not going to.
Well, like
I think you're doing a great job.
Like I said, I lived in Japan, so I kind of adapt it, especially learning.
Oh,
Japanese.
yeah, for sure.
Basically, I studied, but I would go to the bar every night and just talk to people, and that's how I learned how to speak really quickly. But I learned kind of the mindset, read a bunch of philosophical books about how Japanese people think, and then living with them. You always try to think about how other people perceive you, or what you say or the actions you do and how it affects other people around you.
Yeah, I think that's general good life advice.
Yeah, of course.
In general, this particular stream is geared toward getting fans of pro wrestling and boxing and stuff to come over to our side, not so much appealing to the Japanese.
We got the guy on the right, man, from Chiba Ken.
Is that your stomping grounds?
Yeah, that's where I lived the whole time there, man. I live in Chiba. I love Chiba. Chiba's the best place, man. I mean, if you want to think of it simply, if Tokyo is the city, New York City, Chiba would be Long Island, but except once you go outside of the Tokyo Bay Area, it's very redneck. And I don't mean to be offensive when I say redneck, but it's a very rural and
Sure.
I mean, it's beautiful. I loved it. I lived in a bunch of different places in Chiba, and they were always good people.
Did you spend any time in Saitama?
Yeah, I had a couple. When I first started, my first 2 years, I was an English teacher, so I'd always get sent around different schools. I worked in Saitama, I worked in Tokyo. My main base was Chiba.
I was just hearing on the Japanese news that they're considering, it was a couple months ago, they were talking about when Tokyo inevitably floods with climate change and stuff, they're going to move the capital to Saitama in all likelihood.
Not really. I mean, Saitama, it would take a lot of effort because Saitama's kind of run down. Because the way in Japan, it's different. If you're from New York, I mean, you guys are from upstate, right?
Yeah.
So you would understand, here, when Manhattan Island was built, it was built like a grid. In Japan, everything's a sprawl, so it's just spreads out from the train station. So all the apartments, all the shopping and stuff is right around the train station, and the further you get out, the more rural it gets. It's not very organized, especially they had all the roads and shops there. They just basically paved over it. That's why you can't drive a Mercedes down a regular street outside of Tokyo. Because
that kind of figures.
Yeah.
That makes me think of Boston, where there was just no scheme for it at all. It's like a bowl of spaghetti.
Yeah, similar, And Manhattan, I mean, if you look at downtown's, not the grid. Everything they built around the hills,
Oh, right down in the village and stuff.
Yeah, so it's similar to that. But yeah, it's Saitama. I mean, I'm not going to say anything bad about it. It was every time I went there, it was a good place, good people. But the thing with Tokyo is you got to understand, it's all the reclaimed land. They basically dragged all the Tokyo Bay to build industry and stuff, all around that area. So that's gonna go soon.
Well, all right. This guy Shimanumi, I've got my money on.
I don't know.
Unfortunately.
Takanosho in an Oshi battle, I'm not going to bet against him, honestly. I don't think Shimanumi is fast enough to offset his power. It's for Kajikoshi here, 7-7. Let's see what happens.
I think he's stronger. Yeah.
Hey, you called it.
Oh,
I don't know. Takanosho just is like a punk to me. He's okay, but in a power battle, Shimanumi's a bull.
Shimanumi, it kind of means a heart. It's an old meaning for heart. And the other one is kind of magical. So it's it's kind of like a magical heart ocean. And then Takanosho, again, I don't remember this one. This was the other guy's name, but Sho is winning. Or
victorious.
Yeah, victorious. But even we looked before, when you say Shobu can be a fight or a battle or a duel. But I like the first one, kanji, for the sheep. That's a good word, kokorozashi, which is kind of your outlook or your opinion or your philosophy, how you present yourself or you think about yourself. And it was a very important thing, especially for bushi, samurai or monks and stuff back in feudal Japan.
Oh, like self-reflection.
Self-reflection. Or more like how you think, like the way you think and your intentions. Right?
So this next fight, Hoshoryu is the nephew of, I think, multiple former great sumo wrestlers.
I know Asashoryu for sure he's related to. That's his uncle.
He's got 2 ties.
No,
yeah,
those are
when he pulled out for being hurt or something.
Yeah, those are absences. He had a acute tonsillitis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he had to pull out for a few days for treatment, but then he got right back in the ring. There's no ties in this. If they go out at the same time, they make them go again.
That was a very fast commercial.
He didn't. Heroes.
He didn't is terrible. I don't know how he's gotten this far.
Actually, because the kanji in the middle for Hide no Umi is usually written in hiragana like no. It's like a possessive form, but like in names they use that kanji. So Hide no Umi means,
what does it mean in this context?
In this context, it means like the ocean's hero, hero of the ocean, or something like that.
Not my hero.
Well, in that, like I said, Hide is not a common pronunciation of that kanji in the first one. Like you use that one for eigo for English, right? Which means like a grand or great language and stuff like that, right?
Oh.
Or like au, like a hero, like a great warrior or somebody that's like very legendary.
Oh, I think that's wishful thinking.
Well,
for him, I think that was like they were trying to.
Maybe if he heard me, he'd probably feel better,
Brendan.
Yeah.
Guess what? He's in. He know me.
Kisei?
Yes. Whenever someone's fucking useless, they're always in Kisei, dude. Even though Kisei has had some good wrestlers too, but
doesn't Kisei, aren't they the one that has like 50 wrestlers?
They have a lot.
They have to bring them in by boat. I think they're the ones who they couldn't fit them all on a train or something, so they had to rent a boat to bring them into Tokyo.
The one guy that wore the glasses and was like a mega sweetheart, but looks like a giant bulbous. No, not Nishikigi. The guy I would always be like, dude, he like looks so embarrassing, but he's like a cute, happy guy that wears glasses. He's hurt now.
He's sleeping.
Ikiseyama, dude.
Ikiseyama.
Akiseyama.
Akiseyama. Yeah, I always say he looks like someone filled a garbage bag with chicken fat and strapped it to a lineman.
He's just hungry. He's thinking about food, man.
Yeah, Miyagiryu. He's one of the guys who, like, if he wins, could potentially win the whole thing tonight. So he's really got to meditate.
Which color belt is that guy?
I'd say watch the guy on the right, man. He's got the good stance for the legs.
Brendan, what guy did you refer to just there?
Oh, the guy who was sitting on the side that Ian said looked like he was sleeping.
Solid grip for Hoshoryu.
Yeah, it's got that inside grip.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, you were right. The leg.
Forget about it. I still don't think that's enough.
Oh,
there you go.
Ooh.
Man, he rolled him.
Swung him down.
Usually Hoshoryu can counter that kind of stuff. He was the one who did that insane flip on like day 8 or whatever, where he tossed, I think it was Wakataka Kage over the top of himself.
まわしはちょっと取れなかったですかね。
そうです。当たりもいいですよ、
はい
豊昇龍ね。
当たり前
右を取りに行ってるんですけ
Direct
ど、右を刺して、左は取れました。
はい
まだ取れてないですね。
Grabbed onto the belt.
秀ノ取れましたね。これで十分ですよね。
He's like, Jibun was like, that's perfect, but
なんか足が遅れてしまいましたね。
he thought he was going to lose his
右足
footing,
が遅く出なかったですね。
but he didn't. He couldn't pull him, knock him
こ
over.
こでうまくひねりましたよね。うまくひねりましたね。
But then he threw him perfectly.
足がついていきませんでした
Jeez, thanks, Wakanohana.
That was beautiful. See what I said? The guy on the right, his legs, his stance.
You were
Yeah,
right,
you
though.
called it.
Yeah.
For the record,
Wakanohana thought that he had a good throw on him there, but he blocked it with his legs. He had a really good
Yeah,
base.
Ian, you say you don't know anything about this sport, but like you have a great eye for it.
Oh, I like I said, I was a fencer for like 4 years doing saber, so keep that in like whatever that means, you know.
also, Brendan, you would have gotten a kick out of it with you usually being here. I just danced around eggshells to open a cookie without much noise, forgetting entirely that we ate about 6 bags of chips mid-broadcast.
Yeah.
They weren't
That's
chips, they were
amazing.
Andy Cap's hot fries, our sponsor.
Sponsored
Oh,
by Andy
yeah.
Cap's
Nice,
Fries.
nice.
I did forget about. How could I forget?
Handicaps are great, man.
Brought to you by Andy Cap's hot fries, the potato chip alternative.
And brought to you by Ichinojo on the rights. What, plume wine, you said?
Yeah, Ichinojo's plum wine.
Plum wine, yeah.
Plume wine. Plume.
Also,
Meshu-
Chobani.
Chobani. Like,
And
you always say
Arizona
Ozeki.
pants.
Ozeki is like the cheapest American sake that you can get.
But it's like a rank for them, I think, right?
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
second highest rank.
It's a really prestigious rank. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and Ozeki, you can't even find that in Japan. It's only made in California. It's not even real.
It's like the Mad Dog 2020.
Yeah, it's like the Mad Dog 2020 of sake. You drink a bottle of that, you won't even remember the name.
That's
So
awesome.
Daisho already won a special prize, and it's not conditional.
Was it for biggest stupid cheater that can't keep his wrist brace in place?
No, outstanding performance award, probably because they're happy Teruno Fuji got a loss from that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. They gave him the fucked over the most Mongolians prize.
Yeah, well. I mean, the Mongolians are the ones that are doing the fucking.
Yeah, no, they
Yeah.
dominate the sport, and the Japanese are salty as fuck about it. So they, any chance they can get to
Japanese
relish
think they're the
their
best.
losing.
Nippon Daiichi. Japanese always think they're the best.
Yeah, they're
So-
Ozekis too. All the Japanese Ozekis in the last few years, they're like, the Ozekis could be doing it this tournament. They always do like 8 and 7.
You know, it's kind of a nice cultural juxtaposition because they keep throwing like all the salt in front of them and stuff. Like, I'm not Italian, but like my Italian friends, like their grandparents,
yeah.
if you saw them do that, like they would lose their mind.
Yeah, we gotta
bro.
go backward over the shoulder
Yeah,
only.
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
superstitions.
Yeah, well,
So this is the biggest guy in the game right now, at least in the top division. There's guys down in like the unsalaried ranks who are bigger, but there's a reason why they're down there. If you get any bigger than this, it's hard to control your body.
Really?
he's like Fast Castle.
Wait, is this the one where we calculated his kilograms to pounds conversion last time? And he was like
460.
Daisho is like really successful.
It's the characters in Daisho are a reference to his high school that he went to, which is well known for sumo.
Oh, cool.
So it's supposed to mean like the great or like the flying man of Sake
Yeah, because
High.
it means like wings, like super soft.
There's the
Holy shit, he
quick
smoked him.
pushing, and he just smoked him.
I
Yep,
love that, man.
Ichinojo is very
I learned from you and you
susceptible to
learned
that.
from me. That's beautiful.
Hilariously, if Meisei loses, Ichinojo's still going to be Sekiwake next time.
Oh, he
Well, he
never
has
had
a-
it.
ほぼ空いてましたんで
He
ね。
never had his feet.
そこはね、大栄翔すかさず
Isn't that like a foul though? You grab the fucking
途中で喉輪を
chomage.
して相手をもっと起こしてですね、前
What's
に
he saying
出
here?
やすくして。
Yeah, yeah. If you rake the hair, that's against the rule. But it's only if your fingers get caught in it. You're allowed to slap the back of the head.
弱いベイマックスでしたね、今日は。
はい
はい。
あっさりと持っていかれてしまいました。大栄翔勝ってこれで2桁です。10勝5敗で今場所を終えました。逸ノ城敗れて8勝7敗です。
So correct me if I'm wrong, Ian, but right now he's saying everybody tune in to Chanko Broadcast, brought to you by Handicaps, right?
Yeah, that's what he said in the beginning, but in the end he was just talking about like who wins and loses, and he said that handicaps, the hot chips are going to win out of anything. So,
in fact, I'm pretty sure Neil, you might have overlooked that is one of the special prizes as well.
You don't realize I wear the same cap as handicap.
A lifetime supply of handicaps.
It's good going in, not so much going out.
And if you made sports predictions while doing so, you could be handicaps.
No, I'm already handicapped, so I'll leave it at that.
The only potato chip alternative that makes your butt pucker.
Well, no, you don't even know, man. The Japanese potato chips, they got the wild flavors.
So shrimp and all that?
No, I had Doritos that were bacon and mustard flavored.
What the
Sounds like it could be good.
It was actually pretty nice.
I wouldn't think of it, but I bet it's great.
Oh, speaking of which, I actually have bacon cooking right now, so I'm gonna jump up and take care of that while this is going on.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, mute me for a second.
Since we're on Senshiraku here, we're having the final 3-match ceremony. That's what we're watching right now.
It's almost like a haka, yeah, but more spiritual.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the exact name of the ceremony. The last day is Senshiraku. But this particular thing has a name to it.
ちょっと土俵、今日の状態を確かめたい人もいますしね。今でも力士たちはちゃんと合わせてる人いますね。
This is huge here, though. If Miyogiru can win this, it forces Terunofuji to have to win. If he loses, Terunofuji wins the championship outright.
さあ、やってきました。妙義龍です。ここまで3敗。
So which person was it you just referred to there?
Miyogiru here on the left. If he achieves victory against Meisei on the right here, the Yokozuna Terunofuji will have to win his final match to win the tournament. Otherwise, there'll be a playoff. But if Miyogiru loses here, no matter what happens in Terunofuji's match, he wins.
I see.
I'm back.
Oh, that was the Kuyori Sanyaku, was that ritual.
My man with the research. I'm usually the quick guy with that. I appreciate
I
you.
promise, like the next 1 or 2 times when I come back, I'll make sure I know the specific terms for Sumo at least.
Yeah. Ian's jumping into this thing, just seat of the pants with me as a buddy. But obviously, this is our first few broadcasts with this. We're gonna obviously tighten it up, do a little better. We're gonna introduce some new fun elements to make the stream a little more unique for next time. It's gonna be great.
I bought the website for our channel, and we're gonna hopefully we can get together and construct that and watch some old matches when I get back to New York.
It is fun. It's very good.
Like sit down face to face. That would be beautiful.
Yeah, talk it out and get to know each other and the sport a little bit better. I've never even actually met Ian in person.
Yeah, I'm in Suffolk, so it's just an hour.
And he comes here a lot, and I know you're not too far from me, wherever that may be in the world. So,
Queensland, Australia.
Yeah, Queensland.
Yes, indeed.
Queensland, Australia.
So since this is the Koyori Sanyaku, also one small tweak is when they're given the envelopes, one will be given the arrow, one will be given the string, and one will be given the bow to go along with their winning envelope prizes for the final 3 matches here.
So you got Myogiryo on the left, which is like mysterious honorable dragon, and Meisei means like moon and life. So
you know what, Brendan, that actually matched your or Zach's description. I remember when he's saying mysterious honorable dragon, because that's a really fucking specific phrase.
Hey, yeah.
I remember when you got
means
that.
like strange or awkward, but it can mean mysterious. It doesn't always have a negative connotation, depending on the context. Like you could say,
sometimes
Myo no Hito.
I get it.
You know, like you say, Myo no Hito means like, he's kind of weird. But like Myo can also be like mysterious kind of meaning, you know?
Yeah, that's for sure. It's always the cooler one.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
A weird dragon is not a great ring name.
Yeah.
Meisei's had some impressive wins this tournament, but also looked shaky. Miyogiru, I mean, I think his win against Takakesho was a little lucky, honestly. It was a good move at the edge, but it also was a little lucky. He stayed solidly on, but I thought Miyogiru looks good, but...
On like day 3, Zach was looking at the Banzuke, and he was like, Miyogiru. And I laughed so hard. I was like, Yuri was not going to win.
Yeah,
the
he said he
Basho.
was undefeated, right? He said he was undefeated. I remember that.
You gotta watch the
I was
stance
like, yeah, high hopes.
when they face off. You gotta watch that.
Yeah,
That
Tachi-ai.
second, Tachi-ai, it's the most important, you know.
Yes, especially with these two.
Done.
That's it.
So
That's it.
that seals
Terunofuji
it then,
just
right?
won.
See, me as an outsider without a favorite person, I was hoping that guy would win just for the parody of maybe having a good playoff or more matches.
Me
and stuff.
too.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Oh, I
Mysterious, man.
totally wish there was a playoff. It's exciting.
Meisei won because it's the light of the moon that gave him life.
Absolutely. Although the moon is waning, so anything could have happened.
Oh, he used that
昨日
waning
明
to
生
his
変わってるんで
advantage.
妙義龍はよく見ていた。なので少し立ち会い遅れた。
They have like the exact
Yeah.
same style of fighting. It's crazy that they.
You said that they started a little late,
昨日の明生の変化があるからなんですよ。
あ、そうなんですか。
は
uh,
い。なので、
It was not a henka.
足がいつもより早くもっと半歩出ればよかったんですけど。
if he started a little bit earlier, maybe he would have won. He would actually beat him instead.
ちょっと慎重に当たったんですね。
Because he started, the guy, Myogiro, he started too slow on the Tachi-ai, so basically that's what screwed him over for that scene, you know, that whole, that match.
Yeah, it makes
It
sense.
didn't, because he said Zenbu Sunandakata, I was like, it didn't have any effect, you know.
Now, I don't mean to be naive, but who is the guy that Ian is translating, and like what makes him an expert? Because it doesn't look like he's like a former practitioner.
No, he
perhaps.
is. He's a former grand champion.
Whoa, he lost all the weight for what reason though?
Yeah, they only eat just to do sumo.
Oh, when they retire,
Yeah,
they don't.
for sure. They lose a lot of the weight, but actually, he was never known for being really big. He was just really good.
Just that good, yeah.
Yeah, he actually, him and
his.
his brother, I think, were both grand champions.
Now that's.
Excuse me.
See, I always like to see that because it really speaks to not only the strength of like good genetics, but good like parenting and coaching, and like there's families over here like the Jones family, where you got John Jones in the UFC, you got Arthur Jones in the NFL, and you got another Jones brother in the NFL or was in the NFL. And it's like that's got to be.
Well, it's similar to Japanese because in
No
Japanese
coincidence.
culture, especially with like samurai and stuff, like everything was handed down through the generations. So if your dad was a bushi, then you would be a samurai, and vice, continuing on.
Lord.
I mean, it's the same in the West too, right? That's why we have our names like Smith. Like, oh, your dad was a Smith, and now we don't know anything. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
Waka
so-
Nohana, fun fact, he never won a tournament as a Yokozuna. He only was a runner-up twice. He has 5 championships. 4 were as Ozeki, 1 was as Komusubi. Never had a
Komusubi,
Yokozuna
like rice
win.
ball?
Huh.
Cold musubi or all musubi?
Komusubi.
I was gonna say omusubi is like rice ball.
That's funny.
Oh yeah. Komusubi.
Is this your Elvis guy?
I'm not gonna
Oh.
yeah, cold.
Yes, it is.
Which one? I remember the
Wise
face.
men say only fools.
This is my least favorite wrestler, Chris.
Yorugoto.
Who? The one that he calls Elvis?
Yeah, the one on the right.
I can't stand him.
He grows those sideburns out the whole
Bye.
tournament.
I hate his technique. It's
You know,
absolutely
like
one-dimensional and worthless.
That guy,
well, now it is, but like a year ago, he was badass. He was doing all this cool footwork that made him stand out.
I think closer to 2.5 now, Brendo. But yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm pretending the whole entire pandemic was didn't happen.
Fake.
You're right, though. It was several years ago.
Mitake Umi, it looks like I don't know if that is that hell or
Volcano, I think, is what it's meant to
so
reference.
It's like honorable volcano islands, or Umi is like ocean, right?
Right,
and
volcanic
is
sea
like,
is what I've heard them say.
It's just
These
verbose way of
guys-
saying Japan.
Yeah, that's true.
These guys are 7-7 in their all-time record against each other, but
Nice.
recency strongly favors Takakeisho because when Brendan and I first started watching, Mitake Yumi always had Takakeisho's number. In fact, even beat him in a playoff once to take the championship.
Yeah, they have the same body type and very similar styles. Although I think Mitake Yumi tends to favor the belt. He'll like get like a good grip and push out, whereas Takakeisho has like big thrusts.
So,
Now, how many participants? I saved it for after this, but how many people participate?
Like 40.
Oh yeah, no, they first do that. That's my fault for it too.
know, but I always hate that.
I've been watching this for weeks. I still fall for it. Anyway,
It's when the fan is facing forward that they're about to go.
Yeah,
Abi
They
won
by.
Jurio, by the way. Abi won
Well, yeah,
Jurio.
Romano holds
I mean,
the fan
that
for
seems like obvious to me.
I'm watching
Yeah.
the language, you know?
He's been sandbagging every division since they demoted him.
Just destroying everybody. He'll be back with his one-dimensional
Man, you could've made,
technique
like,
that I absolutely
two
love.
pots of pasta with all that salt.
貴景勝、先場所は途中休場。4度目の角番で迎えました今場所。すでに勝ち越しまして、勝ち越し、この角番。
Yeah, this is all going to be about Mitake Yumi being able to absorb Takakeisho.
Yeah, and get in tight.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hey,
もろ手で行きました。
Left.
貴景勝引いてしまった。
Dispatched him.
Wow.
See, the opposite of what happened in the last fight, the guy on the left in the last fight was too slow. And now the guy on the left was faster, but the guy on the right lost, right? You almost startled him. You see, like, he kind of shook for a second, you know, just like that little 1 second. He was like,
Left side, strong side.
Keeping
Please tell me, what do you see
Takakesho
that
up
movie?
is
You see, watch.
extremely
You see what I mean?
good.
Yeah, I'll get to
see what I mean? There you go. Offset, off balance.
当たれてません。
What's he saying there?
取れる状態じゃないですよね。あんまりモルテ好きは見たことないですもんね。
He's like, I never seen anything like this.
やはり首が
The Kumi-eye, you know, like the rappelling together.
そうですね。先場所は頸椎のヘルニアで途中休場がありました。
I know this guy's an expert, but the thing you gotta understand
かろ
about
うじて
Japanese,
角番は脱出いたし
and
ま
not
した
just
貴景勝です
TV or just in general, like they'll always try to agree with each
勝
other.
って今場所は9勝
So
6敗
like
で終え
even if they have a strong opinion about something, unless they're in like a really powerful position, they won't say what they really think. They're just like, ah, yeah, so it's yeah, buddy, so it's yeah, yeah, so it's yeah, buddy. It's like I just agree with you. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
But not
You know?
patronizingly. It's more like to allow for politeness.
Yeah, it's not patronizing at all. You, like if you're an
They
American,
don't want to show each other up, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, like, oh, yeah, I agree with you. Like, if you're an American, maybe you'd be offended by that kind of behavior because they're like, oh, so it's nay, I agree with you. Yeah, but it's not placating you or it's not talking down to you. You just got to understand that.
Right, like they're not taking the piss.
It's all
respectful.
about, you know, coming to like a central kind of agreement, you know? Like a level.
12
That's kind of how we tend to run our show as well.
Yeah.
Is this the Yokozuna? Because I noticed he's 12-2,
Yeah.
and you mentioned the
Yeah. You got it.
I have a feeling,
Teruno Fuji.
Dude,
This
Yeah,
will
this guy
complete
already
his
is-
comeback pretty much. He's Yokozuna and now wins a tournament at Yokozuna after basically having to have 2 careers because of diabetes and a bum knee.
Oh,
that's
man.
very cool. Good on him.
Nah, that's not good at all, man.
No, I mean like good on him for doing well, and that's
He came all the way back.
Yeah, he was already at the top of the thing, and then as I understand, it was actually like both of his Achilles tendons or hamstrings or something snapped,
Jesus
and he
Christ.
contracted type 2 diabetes.
Well, yeah, like it's the same with the footwork, man. It all comes out of the heel. And the heel to the toe, right? All the energy that you sit on like that, like in the heel and the squat, goes straight to the ball of your toe, and that's
Right.
the launching point.
Fucking kidnapping.
Being able to dig your way out.
He uses a lot of upper body for that reason. His kind of, as Brendan said, his signature technique now in this second half of his career that's more successful than his first even was, is locking up both of his opponent's arms and essentially just forcing them out, almost like a modified crush out.
Like a bear
kind
hug?
of technique.
Like a bear hug kind of move here?
Yeah.
Sort of. It's like if you dare go for the belt, he's going to wrap his arms around yours and then do like a double arm bar and sort of like lift your center of gravity up and walk you out backwards.
And keep the arms away from the belt where you can grab on. And then also at that same time, because if you go throwing out with your arms and that's your launching point, then, you know, if you're going from your feet to the balls of your foot.
It throws your weight one way too, right?
Yeah.
If you put them too far.
That's why you just see, oh, whoops, you just run past.
Pretty much the only way that Shodai is going to win this is, in my mind, if he keeps his distance. If he allows Terunofuji to wrap him up, then it's probably over just on power. But I love Shodai. I think he's one of the best in the game. He's not showing that necessarily in tournament wins or anything, but
he is the correct or proper era, right? Shodai, right? And Tadashi.
Well, that's actually his family name.
Oh, really cool. And Teru no Fuji means like shining Fuji Mountain.
Right.
Right.
I got to say, we're at the point of the evening where there's a binary intersection. I lost my voice like crazy at this loud wedding last night, and I'm either going to end up sounding like Christian Bale and Batman at the end of this or The Godfather. We all will have to find out which way it's going to go from here.
Sorry if I talk over you guys. You know, I'm new to this kind of thing. So.
No.
It's okay.
So if
technically,
tell me if
technically we are too.
Yeah, and it's always okay to talk over Chris.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, screw that guy.
I'm just grunt.
He's here. He just
grunt work.
Oh my God, Chris.
The interesting. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Neil.
No, you go ahead.
The interesting thing about Shodai is his technique has never been clean. He wins in a lot of scrambling, very scrappy matches. You'll often see in his matches they'll go to one side of the edge of the doyo, then to another, and he kind of like scratches together wins out of this very frantic back and forth style. King of the Scramble.
It's basically from what I can tell, he gets called out specifically by the Yokozunas and the Ozekis and stuff for practice because he's so big and strong. And so having to experience all of their techniques in practice has taught him, he's become like a master of the counter. He doesn't go in hard and heavy with a particular attack. Usually it ends up being that he holds on with his raw strength until they make a mistake.
Interesting.
Like he's like the practice dummy for all the big dudes. So I think that's why it ends up being a mad scramble, because he's just waiting for an opening of some kind rather than launching his own strategy.
But that's got to be invaluable, because even though he's probably, I'm guessing, worse than those people, the amount of like wisdom and technique he must just absorb, not even being taught like overtly, but just on the.
Well, I mean, he's an Ozeki, so yeah, exactly. He's not a grand champion, but he's better than everybody else in the entire sport except for them.
You nailed it, though, Chris, because most of those guys now retired that used to request him. So, like Kiseno Sato and Kakuryu, both retired now. They were two of the guys that would always request Shodai along with Hakuho.
I really appreciate how thorough you understand all this stuff, because it really kind of adds some good illumination to someone new to it like myself. You want me to get the volume on for you guys?
Or even like, you know, I have the experience with fencing or whatever, anything or other sports or whatever, like to be me say something and be like, yeah, that's exactly what it was or something. So
you guys both are onto it pretty damn well, in my opinion, and I appreciate that. I love that.
Wait, here it goes.
Together.
This is the moment.
Thank you, Neil.
He's high. He's high.
right.
Whoa. Yeah, baby.
See, the announcer before us said, you know, oh, he's trying to block the arms and to block him from going for the belt. And what happened? He went for the fucking belt. Excuse me. He went for the belt, and what happened? That turned it against him.
Holy smokes! Look at that pile of envelopes.
Yeah.
Is that because he's now officially the winner, or was that just for winning that match?
That's
winning that
just the
match.
sponsors for that match.
I see.
He's gonna get a bunch of other prizes now too.
Right.
So that was the tournament, and now all that's really left is for them to do like give out the trophies and celebrate the wins
He
and
said,
stuff.
Psycho New York. It was like the greatest win.
リプレイで見ましょう。
当たってきますね。
見ましょう。
左ね、もう分かってますもんね。
左
ここで抜いちゃってるんですからね。抜いて、こんな大きい人を自分で引っ張り込んでいますからね。
It's like somebody that's so big could actually move somebody else that's bigger than him is like that they could have said is like please move away. You know, like it's still kind of formal. It's weird, but he's basically saying Terufuji was like he's like this guy is bigger than him, like, and he just moved him like boom, boom, and that was it. I mean, maybe I was mistaken who the person was, but the guy that started on the right. Right.
Yeah, Terunofuji.
Yeah.
コメント欄見ても強え、盤石、横綱すごい、パチパチパチ、マサイ。
Yeah, that was a pretty interesting match because it seemed like Shodai wanted to get Terunofuji high there, and he almost had him, but he couldn't get his arm under the other arm. Terunofuji kind of had it blocked just in the position he was in naturally there.
Yeah, it was like that other dude before where you just like picked the dude up that was like twice his size, just pulled him out of the ring. Like,
yeah, he had his weight like fully off the ground at a couple points. That was just phenomenal.
You gotta watch the footwork, man.
Ian, sorry for you on this one because you didn't see it with us at the last one on day 10. But Brendan, correct me if I'm wrong, and Neil, I think you watched them all in our stream. Again, layman, but it seemed like those matches were far more like competitive and interesting and active than a lot of the ones we saw tonight. Now, granted, I don't know the nuances of the sport, so I understand that I probably
think you're right. A lot of guys are gassed
you're
at this point.
Like the other night, it was really exciting. We were going nuts
like,
over here.
They were kind of drained, you know, like you've been doing that for a while. It's the end.
It was electric on day 10.
Plus, you had like the tension and the stress of being like the final, on top of being like so, you know, exhausted mentally and physically.
That makes sense. I mean, I guess it has been 2 straight weeks, right? And they do 1 match per day per person. Is that how it goes?
Right. Everybody has to fight once a day.
There was a lot of rock, paper, scissors interactions here tonight where too low, too high, fast charge, vulnerable. Like there's a lot of like interactions that happened tonight that just led to a decisive win, basically. It wasn't back and forth very much in hardly any of the matches. I think the best match was Kiribayama's match?
Yeah. Well, you're right, man. It's about, like you said, like the rock, paper, scissors, where it's like the guys, especially that would like start really quickly and just move quickly. But at the same time, you had the other one that guys started early, you know.
Exactly.
Right. But I feel like the guys that were less about like force, almost more like Aikido or Judo style, where it's like I'm going to use your force against me. Those are the guys that kind of shined more this evening. And I'm not an expert, so it's just my
No, yeah, that actually tends to be the case.
Yeah, the most interesting things usually come out of the initial thing kind of is a bit of a stalemate, or someone gets close to the edge but staves it off. Then those kind of momentum battles, like the leverage battles you're talking about, kind of also end in a stalemate. When like 2 interactions end in close to a stalemate, that's when you get some really crazy matches usually.
We did see a few like that last week where a match went on for what must have been 45 seconds or 60 seconds. I mean, it was what I considered as a person who's new to this,
well over a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, anything that's over
now,
that
real quick,
is
guys, sorry to interject, but because they're just going through whatever this is now, I'm leaving the volume off so you guys can chat. But if at any time you want me to crank it up so Ian can give us insight, let me know. I'll just get it going.
I would like to take a quick bathroom break.
Go right ahead, dude.
That's okay. The only part that we want to like come back for maybe is the winner is gonna make like a little acceptance speech.
Is he good to go right now then?
Yeah, we've got a bunch of time before that happens.
Cool. I'll be right back.
Because what's this run to, about 5-ish, like usual?
Yeah, I'm maybe a little after, but I think that's why they started it like 20 minutes early.
It's the last day. Let's rock.
Let's go.
So Chris,
Hang on 1 second. I just gotta let Ian buy the setup.
Oh, okay, yeah.
1 moment.
There was actually a 3-minute match this tournament as well. It was freaking Ichinojo against.
I was just gonna bring that up.
It was Ichinojo against it's Takara Fuji.
Yeah, well, because that's Ichinojo wants to try to just weigh the other guy down if he can. That's gonna be like his go-to because he doesn't really have to do anything, and besides just weigh him down. But then against Takara Fuji, that's like a lumberjack that you're trying to weigh down. So it's gonna take a while to put that weight on him.
That's kind of both of their style and comfort zone most of the time. And I mean, Takara Fuji made a run at it, but he couldn't get him.
I think that's like my favorite thing about watching this sport is the more you get to know guys like preferred things, the more like dramatic it becomes. You can really relish the matchups.
Well, because you guys said, each guy seems to have their own, even if I don't recognize it yet, nuanced style and technique and methodology.
In fact, almost every interview with them, all they ever say is, I just do my best and try to focus on my brand of sumo and do my best every day. Like no matter what they ask them.
Well, and it's interesting too because of the format of the tournament. It's not like, say, a boxing match or a UFC fight where you can like watch tape on your opponent and prepare for like their game plan because when you find out the match a day before, 2 days before, maybe.
Right.
Is that how it goes?
I mean, to some extent, they do that because they all have coaches and stuff who have fought a lot of these guys before or who spend the time to come up with strategies for every guy in the top division.
Sure.
And then they'll sort of coach them on that beforehand. And I think that's why Tobizaru looked like such a nutcase when he was fighting against Hakuho because I think he had about 5 people in his ear about what to do.
Holy guacamole, a 17-year-old won Jonakuchi.
Wow. I didn't even know you could join that young.
He's been in for a second, it looks like.
Who, me?
Wow, that looks amazing.
What I got?
No, 17-year-old kid. He won Jonakuchi.
That guy's 17 right there?
No, I don't think that was Jonakuchi. I'm not 100% sure because I can't find pictures of these guys.
It's like Sun, Wing, Samurai. Can I hear what these guys are saying?
Seta Naomi is the one that won Jonakuchi.
It's also hard too. Like, they always wear these masks.
Let's get
They're on a green
for a
screen,
moment
dude.
here.
What the hell? The second. The second ceremony, yeah. Nidai is like silver.
So does this work like kind of like golf or like tennis, where the winner gets the most and the rest get less and less, or is it like winner take all, everyone else fucks off?
No, that's the special prizes. The winner gets like a bunch of stuff, and then if you get a special prize, then you get that stuff. But actually, some like companies will give out their own prizes. I think when Trump came, he gave like a President's Cup or some stupid thing.
Yep.
And now everyone's going to do the Macarena. 7th inning stretch.
Oh, they have to call it the Macarena because, Nippon Banzai is racist, I guess, right?
You know this song? Is it the national anthem?
Yeah,
I was like, whoa, he knows it. What are the odds?
I used to go, not even just in Japan, but when I came home, I used to go to this karaoke bar. Yuki 55 was on West 55th Street and 8th Avenue. They're not open anymore, but I would sing like all the old Japanese enka songs from like the 40s and 50s, some of like the more nationalistic stuff sometimes. And the master, the owner, this like 80-year-old guy, came out of the back. He never talked to anybody. He was nasty to everybody. But I started singing like a song like this, and he came out and he looked at me and he was like, said to me in Japanese, he was like, "Kimi knows this one goes like, why do you know this song?" Like, he was so surprised, and I was like, "Ah, 日本人住んでるから、だからなんていう、 like I like music, I love the history and shit. So he came around the bar and he's like, give me like the most expensive whiskey. And we had a drink together and we sang like a couple songs like that together. It was pretty cool.
Yo, let's go.
Like
That's awesome.
Doki no Sakura, like all the imperial Japanese war songs and shit we'd sing.
Yeah, most of my friends invite me to karaoke, and they're trying to belt out like a bad version of Journey. Ian invites me to karaoke. I walk in, there's like a black and white like a war film on imperialistic.
And it's not even, I just like I like that old music.
It's cool. It's inspiring.
I mean, I love everything 80s pop stuff.
Should we be hearing what this stuff is saying here?
They're just gonna present him with a million things. They're gonna give him the trophy. They're gonna give him like 5 pieces of paper.
At some point, they'll put a mic on him and he'll say something, and that's what I want to tune into. But that's not going to be for a minute.
Okay.
Ian, do you have any idea why we call it like Japan and Japanese? Like that's not even close to what they call themselves.
Well, it's actually Nippon or Nihon, right? Nihonjin. And if you want to go back even further, they would say like Yamato. Yamato is like they consider that like the original racial stock of the Japanese, right? So
Yamato.
Yeah, Yamato. So like when you use like wa, like say like reiwa, like the kanji for that wa means like Yamato or Japanese. The reason Nippon was because that was if I remember correctly, I think it was like the Portuguese or the first like Christian missionaries that came over. It was that was the name that they gave them.
So is that also right now? I remember seeing that name on large boats. Are they also a company in Japan?
What?
Nippon?
Yeah, Nippon just means Japanese company, like Japanese country or company, or it's used like a possessive.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I've seen a cargo ship with that on it.
I mean, same thing. Like even back in the day, they used to call China. Like we use China comes from Shina, right? In Japanese, they would say Shina. But after World War II, it became like a racist term. So now they use Chugoku, right? So they just changed the name.
They got PC over in Japan. I wouldn't have seen that coming.
Oh no, they do. When I left, they were doing LGBT marriages in Tokyo.
It's Nippon Professional Baseball is still the name of their professional baseball league, I believe.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, oh, you're right, because I didn't realize that I've seen the NPL and like on ESPN or something. I didn't know that that's what it meant.
It's cool. Funny. I'll tell you a cool story.
Glad I'm learning here too.
When and if he starts talking, I'll cut off. But
yeah, Brennan, like cut me in quick.
I'll tell you when. Yeah,
don't think we're even close.
If I got like 2 minutes, then
you got plenty of time.
Yeah.
So
this is the most infuriating, really long thing.
When I was an English teacher, my second job was my second year there, and I used to volunteer on my days off to go to like the countryside. I lived in Chiba, so we go like Ibaraki or wherever, like ghost town, like it's all rice fields, farms, small town, everything. And it was all like elementary school, like secondary school kids. And you go in the big gymnasium and you have to like take the cards out, teach them like a quick English lesson and stuff. And you have to stand in front of them, introduce yourself or whatever. So here's all these other teachers. They're from Australia. They're like, I'm from America. And I'd be like, I'm from New York. So I'm going to be like, hey, I'm from New York. And these kids have never seen an American, let alone like a white person in their entire life. And they were like, Ichiro, Yankees, like I love you. I was like, yo, just like
let's go.
Yeah, like in the middle of nowhere. Like just it was so moving and beautiful for me, man. I fucking love that shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
You should have been like, no, not Yankees, Mariners.
Here we go. He's about to do this speech. Yeah, Mets, you little bitches.
Mets. Yeah, Mets. I'm an Islanders guy, so. Height. Clear that.
Crank it up.
It's not enough to hear. He's not talking.
ここで優勝力士インタビューであります。
This the guy,
インタビューは NHK
sumo guy that won is gonna, the sumo guy that just won is gonna do like an interview. He just said his name.
それでは今場所の幕内最高優勝照ノ富士関に伺います。おめでとうございます。ありがとうございます。
Congratulations! You're the greatest. You show as like a sports or athlete. Like here, Honbasho is like a polite way to say this place or this stadium. Or...
Right.
新横綱として見事優勝を果たしました。
I'd love it if you sound like Tyson.
そうですね。
そうですね。Turn up low.
一生懸命やってよかったなと思います。
He's very happy that he could be able to do this.
新横綱ということで重圧もあったんではないかと思いますが、少しほっとされましたか？
そうですね。
So
まあ
that,
そういうのを感じてもしょうがないんで。
until like he thought he'd be going to like October.
かけて、まあ土俵の上で一生懸命やってる姿を見せ
It's
ればい
like
いかな
I
と
just
思いま
wanted
す。
to win and do the best that I could. Like Ishokemen is like the most powerful, the most, the strongest, the
横
best that
綱
you
今
could
日の
do.
結びの一
So
番
you just
も
wanted
素
to
晴
do
らしい
as
相撲で
best
し
as
た
you
ね。
could to
振り
win.
返ってどうですか？
もうさっき言った通り一生懸命やるだけのことです。
Yeah,
はい。
he's like, yeah, just like you said, I just do my best, work as hard as I can.
結びの相撲を取る前に星の差一つで追っていた妙義龍関が敗れたことで優勝が決まったんですけれども、気持
Something
ちに変
happened
化などは
before he
なかったですか？
like took a break.
でも来る前からもまあ最悪3番でも相撲取るぐらいの気持ちで来てました。
I'm sorry, I got distracted because it's fucking okay.
それがご自身の相撲を取る前に決まったんですが、ブレずに取り切ることはできましたか？
そうですね。できることをやったと思います。
They asked him was like,
改めて
did you
伺い
think
ます
that
けれ
you'd
ど
be
も、
able to get here? You know how like you prepare for it mentally or anything like that? And he's like, no, I just did what I was able to do.
そうですね。まああまり考えすぎても仕方ないことなので、
They asked
まあ
him
土
kind
俵
of
の
like
上で
how he prepares or
上がれ
whatever.
ばも
He said that.
うもう一生
No,
懸
he
命やる
said
だ
that
け
you,
っていう。
if you think too much,
まあ土俵の上で頑張ってる姿を見せるのは
which is like
Well,
again, he
someone
says
told me
like I just did my
something
best,
about
but I don't.
やってました。
If you think about it too much, you're not gonna be successful.
On one hand, that's very wise advice for many people, but it also sounds like he's barely answering their questions.
No, he's not. He's basically
Classic.
そうです
Like
ね。
you just chill.
まあうまくできたかなっていう。
he's like I don't even know if I did that good. うまくできなかったかな。
Oh no!
Yeah. It's like,うまくできなかったかなと. It's like
とても豪快
you
な
question like how
大
good
き
you
な
did.
土俵入りに見えました。皆さん喜んでらっしゃったと思いますよ。
Everybody praised this guy. Be happy for him. And he's like, yeah, I won, but
膝への負担
I
は
could've
今終わ
lost
ったから
too.
聞きますけれども、どうだったですか？
いや大丈夫です。
you know, like, do you want to like say anything else more? He's like, no.
歴代の先輩の横綱たちもなかなかできなかった新横綱優勝ということにな
I
りま
love
す。
the contrast to our
優
athletes.
勝と何か違う喜び湧いてきたりしますか？
They're saying like, do you want to like congratulate anybody else or like you worked with or
優
say anything
勝
about
する
them?
ことが本当に難しいっていう
It's
のは
very difficult to be an athlete or an
いろん
sumo.
なその場所で感じてましたんで、
But
まあ
he's
優勝
very
すること
moved.
自体がもう本当にありがたいことです
And
ね。
he's very thankful and he's very moved by everybody else's performance that he fought with or anybody else. Not
そ
just
の
that
優
he fought
勝
with
を
directly,
今
but
年だけで3
in
回、
general
もうすで
of
に
the
今
match
年の年
tonight.
間最多勝も今場所決めたということで、今この結果何が良くてつながっていると思いますか？
It's like, what do you remember the most? What moves stay with you the most?
まあ自分一人だけではこんなに活躍できないんで、も
I
う
couldn't do it by
親方
myself.
おかみさんはじめ、もう講演者の
My
皆さん、
wife,
もう
friends,
家
family.
族、もうここに足運んでくださる皆さんのおかげで、まあ、こういうところに立ってることを本当にありがたいと思って、来場所
Yeah,
に
he
もう喜
basically
んでい
was
きたい
like,
な
I
と思って
could. They were like, what stays with you the most? And he said that I couldn't do this without, you know, my family, my parents, my wife, my trainer. He said his wife first
今
after
終わっ
his
たばかりの恐縮ではあり
trainer,
ますけれども、
Okami-san.
1
not
年
just
納
God,
め
but
の
it's
九州場所が今年最後の場所ということになります。次は横綱2場所目ということになりますけれども、今後に向けてはどうですか？
そうですね、はい、 度胸の人生はいつ何年くらいか分かんないんで、まあ上がってる以上は全力を出して精一杯やっていきたいなと思ってます。
He said that basically, I missed the question, but he basically said that he put all his effort, all his power, Zenryoku, like all his power, all his might into getting to that place.
That lady on his left looks like a supervillain.
Yeah. She probably lives in Tokyo. That is not.
She's styling, dude.
Well, maybe it's your taste. That's not my taste. I respect your taste, but it's not mine.
What, the green hair there?
Yeah, I like the trad.
I'm not
man.
saying she's
like
a look or
I like
anything,
the
but
She's like a badass.
ladies, bro.
all the colors on her outfit and her
Too many
hair,
colors.
it's
Yeah, she
all,
looks
none
like a
of
Mortal
it
Kombat
matches.
character.
Yeah, right.
Let's say none of it
Katana.
matches.
Jade.
But so
Yeah.
he essentially said, Hakuho wasn't here. I didn't get pushed. Well, shit, but I won. Good job, me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seemed kind of ambivalent about the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, and I appreciate that he's like, thank you. And the thing is with Japanese too, like it sounds really formal because you use all like these formal terms because there's like all the different kind of hierarchy of how polite you should be based on like who you're talking to and what situation. So it sounds like really long and fancy, but he's just using like polite terms, so it sounds a lot longer than it actually is. Just to be respectful, you know, even if he's like the champion, he would still use polite forms when he's giving the interview.
Yeah, they really fucking hate when you hype yourself in any way in this sport. Like if you say anything besides I did my best and focused on my brand of sumo, thank you for having me, then like the whole community afterward will just dump on you.
Yeah, that was like the TLDR, too long did it read, of what he just said. It was basically like, thank you so much, I appreciated everything, you know.
The one part where he said he could have lost and didn't know how good he did, I kind of took that as Hakuho wasn't here.
Yeah,
so
for
my
sure.
biggest competition wasn't here. Like just the way you said it and kind of the way he was like kind of smirking and laughing a little bit lightheartedly before he started thanking everybody. To me, it was like he wants to beat Hakuho for a championship.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he only went 13-2. That's not even actually that good. Hakuho went 15-0 last time.
Or maybe he did, but like my feeling that I got off of it, and again, I had to listen to like the one translation and then like listen while I was translating over the other one. But I would say that like he didn't want to be like bragging or anything.
Yeah. I think Neil just means like
But
contextually
again,
based on the sport itself.
Yeah. But I'm saying like in Japanese too, like you'll say that, but like there's still that underlying meaning, and you picked up on it exactly. Like you see his face, you see the way he said it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I'm translating it for you, like you still get what he's saying because you're watching him. So like you get that a lot too, and you got to understand a lot of the context because everything's contextual based, right? Like you could start a sentence in Japanese and then end it and use the present tense verbs, the whole thing. But then if you end the sentence with, say, for example, like a past tense, then everything in that whole conversation you just had is in the past tense, right? Or you just jump from all over the place, especially in like casual conversation.
I've read somewhere, though it's probably not like a scientific source, that Japanese is like top 2 hard languages to learn in the world. And I even studied Russian, which I know is like difficult because the different Cyrillic alphabet and stuff. But do you think
Icelandic is supposed to be the hardest?
That is up there. That's hard to pronounce too. I can kind of do it, but
I don't know. I
like
like a lot of the
long-
music though.
Yeah.
That,
They have
But
very
also
long
English.
names.
Holy smokes! Half of the stuff we say it means the opposite of what we're saying.
But that's more of our
always
colloquial
would-
type shit, not so much the academic.
well, when I first
or
went to
whatever.
Japan, man,
But
it
you're
was
right.
always
It's
like,
funny.
I'm from South Shore of Long Island, so even if I'm not from the city, I still have that, Long Island kind of accent, you know what
New
I'm saying?
York.
So I'd go into the classroom and I'd get a call, like a week later. Here we go. I get a call, in a week, and they'd be like, hey, Ian, you're not speaking the proper English, so I have to go be like, hello, how are you today? Nice to meet you. Like, it's like nobody talks like that, man. Come on, you kidding me? Like, and then especially, it's like it upset me because everyone's like, oh, I gotta like study by the book, and like the Hollywood or like
for
the
sure.
neutral pronunciation. But then you go to America, you don't even know what anybody's nobody's talking about. You know, like
I recently started teaching English online to
Sure.
Japanese and Filipino people,
oh yeah, Filipinos are
and
good.
the company that I go through gives you like badges and certificates based on what kind of pronunciation you're capable of teaching. So there's like a whole badge for British English because it's so
They're the
different from
worst.
American English.
But
Cup of
even
coffee.
that,
And
even
the
that,
British-
there's like 30 British accents. So you wonder if they even bother to write it down, or they just mean a London.
Well, like
you know,
they
even
even
London, there's several
same thing
London
with like the
accents
upper
even.
class, the highfalutin kind of Australian is very similar to like the Queen's English they use. Like I had a friend
Like a
that
Sydney
I
type
worked,
accent.
Yeah, like when I had a friend that I worked with, he was from Yorkshire, and like I'd hang out with him like in
That's northern, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but like we'd hang out in the class, you know, talking to the school and shit, and you're like, oh yeah, I understand you, but like we'd hang out, and be like, oh, I can't go to the bar, mate, I got no dosh. I'm like, you're English, bro. Do you speak English? Stop, no, mate. I'm knocking, mate. I'm knocking, mate. I can't go. I'm like, bro, like, what? I love it. I mean, I dig that kind of
heard,
language.
See, I had to learn on the fly because I've worked for several British companies. So like
Yeah.
everything he said, I picked up, but it took years of a tuning of the ear.
But at least in the north, they're like more laid back, you know, as opposed to like, you know, London types that are like they went to Cambridge or Hull or whatever, you know, like they have that kind of pompous attitude.
Well, it begs
especially
the question.
against Americans.
And I can't believe I haven't thought to ask this, given all we've talked about language in the past. Is there? I mean, I could recognize Japanese language being spoken, but are there various Japanese accents? Like say north,
100%. They have
south,
dialectics
island.
and stuff.
Oh no,
even.
no. I mean that's different words though, like vernacular. I'm talking about do they sound different in their
Yeah, they do.
like cadence?
So
and
like
shit?
I'll give you for an example, like if you would be like and in Tokyo, like Kanto, like the standard Japanese that you learn, like Chiba has a little bit slang that's different from Tokyo, but it's pretty much the same. So you would say like, so desu ne. Like, yeah, I agree, right? But then like slang would be like, so da ne. But then like if you went to Osaka, it'd be like, seyana.
But see again,
like,
truncating.
nani yatteru desu ka?
No, see,
Nani ya ne, omae?
I get what you're saying, but what I'm hearing is different vernacular, different terms.
But-
I'm asking, like, is there like a southern accent in Japan versus a northern accent,
but
like
the accents are different.
like the way you?
So like
It goes so far as being into almost a different language.
Oh, really? Damn.
Well, I feel like Osaka and the Western dialects are more similar to like Chinese because they have that like more different, they have a similar inflection to like Cantonese and stuff. I mean, geographically, maybe that makes sense. I don't know. But
As far as I understand, China basically like knocked down the door on every island and was like, all right, this is how you write your kooky bullshit language in our letters.
As you said,
Yeah.
So it makes sense the closer you
But
are.
it's
more
interesting though
similar
because like you should check out Norinaga Motori. He was a Japanese linguist from like the 1800s, and basically what he did is he wrote like a whole bunch of essays and treatises about like the history of the Japanese language, and he basically had his two ideas was that the original Japanese language, the Yamato, like I mentioned before, the native Japanese people, they would use words like iku, iru, like, you know, basically everyday words because they weren't educated. But then once the Chinese came over, they used kanji and they gave more complex ideas, more philosophical, more abstract ideas.
That's so terrible.
Like I read that, I was like, wow, like I was just blown away when I read that shit.
Esoteric hour.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, can you give me that like crazy demon voice?
What? I can only give everyone. I could give it to
Yeah, just can you put that on for a sec?
I got a few of them here.
Interesting quick hits here. No Ozeki got over 8 wins. Both got 8 wins exactly. Also, Meisei, the person that defeated Miyogiru
hey, look,
to
it's you,
hand
bro. You're on TV,
Terunofuji
bro.
the championship,
Yo, it's
was
fucking rich.
one of Terunofuji's 2 losses as well.
Yeah, people were calling him the early like favorite.
Yeah.
Meisei?
Hakujin got the
Yeah, before the tournament started, or
there's
like
a
when it
white
was
dude
early
up there. What's
on,
going
all
on?
the pundits were like, "Oh, Meisei is gonna blow everyone away."
He was looking pretty good, but he lost a bunch in the middle there.
I've always been
Somebody
skeptical
in
of
the
him. He's
chat
a very
on
sophomore
the-
kind of
on
guy
the
to me.
Twitch was like Gaijin Pog. It's not funny. Sorry. I like a good laugh. But yo, you guys are awesome.
Welcome back to Choco
Thanks for having me
Sports.
on, man. You guys are awesome. I love you guys so much.
Dude, you're awesome. This was fun as hell. The
Talk about
translation stuff was amazing, dude.
Yeah, I could
Yeah,
do
we've
better.
now brought something that does not exist anywhere in the world to Sumo, because like a little bit they'll translate, but it's always very quick, just the interviews and stuff.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
if you
like-
want to watch it, they have a separate English commentary that doesn't pay attention to them at all.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, like,
So-
if you guys are serious and you want to have like a set time every week or so that we could do it, give or take, because I'm in a band, you know, we're gonna play shows and stuff sometimes on the weekend. But I'd be more
no
than
way.
happy.
We should jam
Yeah, what do you play?
everything. Well, I'm a
Yeah.
singer mainly, but I'm a multi instrumentalist.
Oh,
I grew up in a
really?
town where music is like the only way to get attention. So as a young
Nice.
kid,
Yeah, I'm mostly a drummer, but I play guitar, keyboard, whatever.
Oh, that's awesome.
When we're done, I'll send you check out the band that I'm in. Well, I'll send
Yeah,
you,
absolutely.
I'll send
Plug
you
it.
a free tape. You get a PO box, whatever.
Chris does not hesitate to plug Levy Land. So
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in Chris though, man. He's got this grandmother Moog here, and like he's never gonna let me use it. He's never gonna let me buy it. He just sits here and
You can
calls.
play it. You can play it anytime you want. I'm not selling it to anyone right now.
as
No,
soon
if
as
you sold
the
it to
next
somebody else,
wave of
I would
pandemics
not
hit,
sell
I'm
it to
gonna
someone
just raid Guitar Center and steal all their Moogs
Yeah, well, you
when
know,
the riots break out.
yeah, well, you should raid the local gun shop, man. Seriously.
In this city,
Yeah, and this well it depends.
I'm
on
a
what you're-
pacifist. I just want to get those Moogs going.
Yeah, you'd be, say that, but like they say, there's no atheist in foxholes, man.
is this
Yeah, better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Yeah.
who is what's this ceremony that's happening here? Are they honoring someone who
God, the winner, they're gonna hang his
Yeah.
photo
Yeah,
up in the
Simon.
stadium.
I see.
So,
So they're in a stadium called the Kokugikon, which is like the
Yeah.
home of sumo. And when you win
Yeah.
a tournament, they hang up a portrait of you. So they'll probably pan up to the other recent winners as well.
Okay.
Chris, this is way ahead of time, but I know you love the Mets, and I know Zach loves the Mets.
I like
Yep.
the Mets
Mhm.
too.
Hey, Chris loves the Mets. Everybody loves the Mets, man. So, okay, and I love the Mariners and the Mets. They're playing an interleague at Citi Field next season
Nice.
in May. So, I definitely want to come down for that.
Oh, we can go to a
Hell
game.
yeah.
That'd be fun. That would be good. I mean, it's very City Field's fun. It's easy to get to from here. Even you know how you know it's a good place. All my Yankee fan friends who hate the Mets, without any hesitation, admit that City Field's way better than Yankee, and it is.
I'm happy
I've heard
they-
that.
I'm happy that
Well, 'cause
the,
not in the Bronx.
the Islanders are gonna come back to
The
Long Island because they were in Brooklyn, and like it's cool because you get on the train, you can just be like, all right, I get on the train, just get drunk on the train like everybody else does Long Island Road, right? And you go in there and you can have fun, but it's not the same as going to the Coliseum, man. Like it's even if you're not from Nassau, it's your your home territory,
The only thing I know about the Islanders is I think I watched the 30 for 30 about the con man that bought that team
yeah.
at one point.
Yeah.
I watched that when I was like 15, dude. I fucking loved that
How,
shit.
how old are you now? Well, if you don't mind me asking.
Like 30.
You're 30? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 35, man. So it's like
Okay.
same age, like 30
Yeah.
year
I
old boomer.
think I'm the elder statesman here, probably.
Yeah, probably. Just because you have more years in age doesn't mean that you're.
Does that make me the baby?
Are you baby?
Oh no, Zach is.
You're older.
Oh,
you're older than Zach.
really?
Yeah, I'm just a little bit older than Zach.
You should listen to what's his name, Seneca the Younger. If you're into philosophy and stuff, Stoicism, especially
Yeah.
you're talking about like stuff is gonna get harder.
What?
There's more restrictions. You have to deal with less. Like Stoicism is really great way to go.
I was saying to them the other day that a lot of these wrestlers seem very stoic. I don't know if about philosophy, but just in their disposition.
Well, I mean, it's a Japanese disposition.
all
in
Bushido.
general, like it doesn't even have to do if you're like a warrior or anything. Just in general. I mean, like I'll give you an example. When I went over there and I made girlfriends, they were like, "Oh my God, you're so like romantic, and I love you," because they're not used to that affection. Like a Japanese guy won't even tell you that he loves you or even likes you because they don't say love. They don't say like, "Ah, amae no koto o aishiteru." They say "ski," which means like. So like they won't even tell you until like maybe they won't even tell you. Like if the girl's like falling for you and the guy's like, no, I feel uncomfortable about this. Like he won't say anything, and then like he could have missed being with the love of his life. You know what I mean? So it's like you always have to deal with that. They hold everything in.
They call that tsundere, right?
Tsundere, yeah. So like even when I went there, like everyone, once I was able to speak Japanese well enough, they were like, your Japanese is really good, but you speak like an American. Like, you know, like the way I expressed myself, because I was always very direct and like, hey, I don't like this, I don't like that. I always would. So I want to be real, man. That's what it's all about, you know?
I bet that stands out, like in the way that, say Slavic or Eastern European or Russian speakers who have broken English only sound over here, like very to the point, only the operative language.
Yeah, but when you think in Russian, it pretty much translates directly almost like that, except for like a couple of things, you know?
It is very different, like the grammar and stuff. It was crazy.
Hey, Chris, did you ever finish that cottage cheese?
Yes. Yeah.
What?
There was some trolls on Reddit that were like slamming us for that. For like even bringing it up at all. Well, I mean, fuck those guys. Who cares? But it was Reddit, like a point of contention that we spent so much time ribbing you for the cottage cheese.
Do people not expect there to be like? I mean, it's supposed to be funny.
Dude, you shouldn't even care. It's Reddit, dude. Like, who cares?
Mulana, if you're still here, we appreciate you stopping by, man. We're gonna keep trying to do these for future tournaments. So definitely make note of the channel and come by anytime, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah. Whoever showed up, whoever watched, you know. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and there'll be more. I'm more than glad to continue this, obviously.
Yeah, Brendan, when's the next tournament again? Is it November after this?
It is November. Yeah, it's going to be like the probably the beginning of the second week. It's usually right in the middle of the month. I could look it up exactly, but
yeah, let me know because I might have to. I have the first 2 weeks of November. I got a show on a weekend, and then I got to go to Kentucky and then Philadelphia for another show. So
it's a pretty sweet little tour.
Yeah, so maybe I won't be able to do one, but I could come in afterwards. So yeah, just keep me updated, man.
Also, I'm able to do stuff with people remotely as well. So like, it's more like I know on show nights you have shows you wouldn't be able to do it, but if you were just like in a van or something,
we're driving, 13 hours and then doing 2 shows back to back and all that, So
bang bang.
Yeah, we're probably not going to do every night of the tournament. That's just such a huge. We make no money off of this, So I mean, if we might be able to set up something to cover us, but we have jobs and hobbies and stuff, so we understand. You can.
Yeah.
And I'm just starting to beat back the sleep deprivation of a decade or two. Like I was just getting good at it. Then we came up with this idea.
I kind of like actually coming because I originally said to him, I'm like, yo, let's how about I just do it from home and stuff. Actually, I kind of like being here and having.
Oh, it's a thrill to be in the studio. Like
yeah, I told
with
one.
One.
Was it you or somebody else that was going to come today or?
We thought Zach, but he.
Zach, yeah. I know. I remember Zach. I saw him. Is that the guy we
Unfortunately,
saw?
Yes, he runs the show.
He was indisposed.
I felt weird because I was like at the comedy show with them. I was like trying to because nobody said anything. So I was like, oh, cool. Let me say something. Just like I know how it is when you're up there. I did theater when I was in college. Like you need that energy.
Yeah, but most comedians, you did it in a way that was somewhat tasteful. But most comedians,
yeah, but I'm not here to heckle the dude. I'm like give him a little, something to keep him going, like kindle in the fire. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not trying to diss the guy. I would never do that. That's messed up. Well, unless they were.
I
really
do,
bad.
but
unless they were
related.
Well, unless they were really bad, but also it was Chris's friend.
That's family privilege.
You know what I mean?
Brendan.
Like I'm not about to invite me to a show and I meet everybody the first time. Be like, yeah, you're this and this, and say some fucked up shit. So.
November 14th to the 28th will be the November Boss Show.
14th.
Oh, I like kind of called it. This is the second week. Oh, all right. So yeah, we'll look forward to that. We'll have our own streaming platform. Nice. I'm going to be doing some like text type reviews like on Twitter and things like that. So anybody who enjoys this, you can keep up with us. We're hoping to do like I was talking to Neil about it earlier, like just cut it down to individual fight. If you just want to see Zach freak out about the Tochi fight or hear Neil's analysis of a Terutsuyoshi fight.
Yeah, I would say too I would like to have like a direct stream that I could listen to for the commentators in like one ear because
we can set that up when I'm there.
I just want to be able to like listen, because a lot of the times when like I used to be an interpreter too, so that's why I was able to do it that quickly. You got to listen to what somebody says and then do it while somebody else is still talking.
We'll get you on like a phone with headphones or something.
Yeah, I'm just saying, just to make it better for everybody.
Or your laptop with headphones would be able to work either way.
Right, yeah. Usually it's like the command center in there. We've got like phones and laptops and paper all set up so we can communicate without
the best quality for everybody.
Now, just so I understand too, is this like second and third place getting some awards or something?
Special
these
prizes.
are the special prizes.
I see.
Yep, the Sancho.
Yeah, it looks like special.
He would have gotten 2 if he had won his match, but he's only getting 1 now.
Yo, these guys, bro, this guy eats like the amount of rice that like the average Japanese person probably eat like a week.
Yo, like, for sure, every day, plus tons of beer.
In like one sitting.
I mean, do you guys know how many calories these guys consume in a day, roughly?
At
this
least
is a
5-6
great
hours.
opportunity to plug our show, because the name of our program, Chanko, is actually the like secret recipe soup. Every team, they're called stables or bayas, heya, depending on the context you use it in, has their own recipe for this like insane high calorie soup that they make. With like fish and chicken meatballs and stuff. And actually, if you come up here upstate for one of our little, fun things, we have a big hot pot Chanko thing that we do.
You're upstate or?
Well, I'm in central New York technically right now.
Because to me, like,
Syracuse.
Okay. Yeah, because even from Long Island, like to me, like upstate is really like anything past Albany. Like it's not like Westchester. Or
right. No, so many people from the city say upstate, and they mean like hop hog.
They're like North Yonkers.
I'm not from the city. I'm from Long Island. I'm from Suffolk.
They're like, oh, I'm from upstate, and I'm like, oh, where? And they're like, New Rochelle.
Yeah, I mean, I went to school in Purchase. I didn't go to school upstate.
Really? You went to Purchase?
Yeah, Port Choice, SUNY Port Choice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me too. That's what.
Really? What year? I graduated 2006.
I was in middle school.
Oh, okay.
Chris, 4,000 to 7,000.
Man, I feel old.
Calories.
Thanks, bro.
Say that again, yeah.
4,000 to 7,000 calories, depending on the person.
That's like a Michael Phelps.
That's like
diet.
what I drink on like a Tuesday afternoon.
They mix beers in there too, Ian. Actually, they're big beer drinkers. Beers and naps after meals.
Actually, like when I came back, everything sucks because like even there's actually a Japanese convenience store right down the street from here, and like you get I'd go there and get the beers or whatever from Japan. And you look at it, everything's made in like California or Canada. I'm like, it doesn't even taste the same. It tastes like shit, to be honest. Like even like the macro beers over there. The only one that was good was the Orion beer from Okinawa. Great, excellent beer. It comes in like a dark, like a 16-ounce about dark glass bottle. That one is actually made in Okinawa and then shipped over here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good.
My martial arts specialty is Okinawan martial arts.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah. Okinawa's great. I mean, the thing is, a lot of Okinawans don't like Americans because of like the whole Marine bases and
sure,
all the dishonorable stuff that goes on over
there. Bit of occupation situation there, right? Back in the day,
right? I mean, that's their home. So they have the right to say what goes there and what doesn't go. So
and they're an island in the south, is it?
Yeah. Traditionally, it's interesting. It's like a mix of like older Chinese stuff, Japanese stuff, and the native Ryukokan.
You ever been down to like the Ryukyus?
Yeah. I went one time, man.
What's that like?
It's kind of similar to Okinawa. It's a little bit different, but that's more like it has more of that older Chinese influence because it's very like,
I understand that there's like a good mix of like Filipino.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the Kanto area, you got all that. Especially in like service or factory, almost like not to be offensive or anything, but like kind of like we'll have like I guess like Hispanics or something that will work in like factories in America. Like they use Filipinos kind of the same way in Japan. Like they'll make the bento boxes and they'll do the meat stuff and a lot of Iranians,
kind of figures.
Like Middle Eastern as well too, like Iranian, Iraqi, working a lot of the factories and stuff there.
There's a lot of Middle Easterners in Japan.
Yeah, especially in like Kawasaki or like Kanagawa area, like Kawasaki area with a lot of factories. It's easier to get a visa. Actually, as an American, you have to have a bachelor's degree to get a visa to work in Japan. But from a lot of other countries, and especially like Australia too, or any of the Commonwealth, you can just get a work visa. So that's why you would see a lot of Australian or Canadian or British. Or
when I was looking into like teaching English as a foreign language, I found that out, and I was like, well, is there any other way to get in there? And the advisor was like, well, just marry a Japanese person.
Like that's just a casual
But that would
fucking
take-
Wednesday afternoon for
That
someone.
would still take a while because they're very strict. Like I was there. For
I, when
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
when Hakuho, the like top of the sport, he's Mongolian.
Sure. Yeah.
He's
I
from
remember that dude.
Ulaanbaatar.
Oh, nice. I
Um,
love Mongol.
he wants to have his own stable when he retires, because if you're a yokozuna, you get something called an elder stock.
Sure.
But because he's not Japanese, they dragged him over the coals to get his citizenship. He had to renounce his Mongolian
Yeah, you can
citizenship
only have
first.
one citizenship in Japan.
And then even after that, like he had to be like a man without a country for a while, and then they decided that he could become
And
Japanese.
you have to be perfect Japanese. I was there 5 years, and I considered doing it. But when I really looked into it, even though I spoke well enough and understood the culture well enough, I would never renounce my American citizenship. Like, I'm an American. I'll always be proud to be American. Like, I'm gonna get that for Japan or any other country. You know, even if it's the worst country, I'm still, you know, my ancestors came here.
Well, look at what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the tournament, they bury a small meal in the doyo for like the spirits, like the kami.
Yeah.
And as I understand now, they're gonna dig it up.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I really like that you have that kind of synchronicity between the Shinto and the Buddhism, because you know, like a lot of my students over in Japan, when I talked to them when I was teaching, I'd be like, what are you, like, what's your religion? And they'd always ask me, and I'd be like, yeah, well, I'm a Christian, but that doesn't mean like I'm a hardcore, you know, Bible thumping, you know, whatever. Like, I'm a Christian because that's my culture. So they would say, oh, I'm a Buddhist, or don't believe in anything. Actually, a lot of people say mushoku, which means like mushoku is no job. Mugyo kana. They would say they're atheists, but there's a lot of Buddhist people. It's just like part of the culture, you know. But I still like that. I still like that respect, because you should respect and honor the people that came before you, no matter where they came from, you know, whether their country or whatever. Like, if they didn't do what they did, you wouldn't even be alive. You wouldn't have this, you know.
Right. Yeah. Right or wrong, they are the predecessors that allowed society to function at all.
Yeah. You can make that judgment whether they were right or wrong, but still, if they didn't do what they did, you wouldn't be here. So you should still be grateful for that. And especially, I appreciate that in Japan. I mean, I guess, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little rambling.
They have like
Sorry.
more of a reverence for their elders.
No,
right?
it's
Any
interesting.
kind of insight is good. I consider myself sort of an all-purpose theologian, because I just find anything that anybody you know, commits themselves to as a lifestyle, to there's always a kernel of truth in it, because it comes from a tradition.
Yeah, like even I said I call myself a Christian. I mean, I have heavy influence from Gnosticism, from Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, you know, like everything, you know, ancient Greek philosophy, Greco-Roman philosophy. So I always, like you said, I look at everything and be like, wow, like you said, exactly, there's a kernel of truth in something. And then you realize sometimes, wow, they're not that different. There's a lot of similarities, a lot of parallels. So
most things tend to boil down to the same basic truths of you know, how to take care of yourself and your family and the people around you.
Yeah, and the others, right? You can't.
That's actually part of sumo. The reason why the doyo is made out of clay and rice bales is because they want the gods to look down on them while they're thundering around and be like, "Oh, you like clay and rice?
Yeah, just a mix." Oh, sorry, man.
We'll give you some more of that.
Yeah.
You know? Like, the whole thing is like a harvest fertility ritual that goes back centuries.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to consider too, like even in Japanese, like they say kome is the word for rice, but they also say meshi, which can also mean like a meal. So that, like, just like we have wheat in the West, they have the rice there. That's like the sustenance of everything. And not just that, even you go back to some of like the more rural rituals, like the Shintoism and stuff, they still worship stuff like fire. You know, like the most primitive thing, like especially in Western culture, we take for granted with, you know, what's his name, Prometheus, right, and giving fire to humanity, and
absolute
in
mad
Japan,
lad.
yeah. I mean, but he started everything. If we didn't have fire, what would we have? We'd still be, you know, beating each other with a stick. Which, I mean, maybe that's the right thing we should have done, right? You know?
Yeah, maybe humanity was a mistake.
And the industrial society and its consequences, right, man?
The one little thing,
sorry, man,
quick
I'm
hit.
kind of rambling.
Yeah, go ahead, Neil.
No, quick hit, kind of cute thing that happened there. The Gyoji they were tossing, he did his first tournament, and the stable he belonged to, 3 of the younger wrestlers were tossing him up and down. So this is like his actually like an official Gyoji now, and he can start ranking up because the Gyojis rank up like the wrestlers do.
Sure.
I don't know the qualifications and like et cetera for that kind of stuff, but they do other stuff around the stables as well, other than just referee the matches at the tournament. So I'm assuming, you know, all of that's factored into their promotions and stuff. But when he got tossed up and down by the 3 younger wrestlers, it's because he did his first tournament successfully.
That's fantastic.
That's pretty cool, man.
This is just another Chonko fact brought to you by Neil the Deal Jenkins.
Yeah, start off with the sumo, come stay in for the philosophy.
That's right.
Yeah, hey, that was awesome, man.
So I think we're gonna wrap up now.
Sure.
There's really not anything else to watch. I thank you, Neil Jenkins.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you as well, Ian.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. And thank you to all of our viewers. Make sure
especially the viewers. Anybody that saw this, you enjoyed it. Thank you. I just keep improving so I could do a better job for you guys, you know.
Yeah, if you guys have anything to plug for your sign off.
Yeah, Zinzin. Yeah. Oyasumi. Otsukare desu.
Have a great night, everybody.
Yeah, peace, man.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. This has been Ruckus Fights NYC with Chonko.
All right.
And thank you, Chris.
Good night, guys.
Hey, thanks, guys.